Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Greg's coming to you on 25 November 21. Time on deck is 22 hours, no kidding. 22 in the year 22, not a human will have a single shoe. Tonight, we're going to be thankful. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving. But we're also going to talk about my new channel. I got a brand new YouTube channel called Product Pappas, and I do a drill runoff in that video. And also, we're going to talk about asteroids, asteroid strikes, bang, 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 bam, bam, bam. So we got an event-packed night tonight. Lots of topics to cover, and of course our normal chat. But I'm doing this special tonight because one, it's Thanksgiving, and I wanted to have a little Thanksgiving chat. Well, I also want to talk a little bit about the lawlessness coming in this country. I probably should do a separate video on that, probably a separate video on this asteroid thing. But, you know, there was a video aired today, and I felt like I needed to clear some air. So I thought it was time to come on and talk about that on here. So, guys, buckle up. We got a lot to cover. Hope y'all are doing well. I am going to go on my little laptop beside me here and open a chat room also so I can watch the chat room in there. So we got a lot of people coming in pretty quick here, 33 in the room. Now, I know if I was Rex, I'd already have 300 in the room, but, you know, I'm not that big. Well, subscriber-wise, yeah, I'm a big guy otherwise, right? But I haven't lost weight. I'm not as big as I was. Not as big as I was when I made that video either from Product Pappas. So I've lost about 20 pounds. So hang on, guys. We're going to go all over, just getting this started up here. Aha, now I see the chat room. Hey, Vicky's in the room. I'm glad to see you, Vicky. Let's see, Regina. Constitution, 5x5. Jim, hey, Greg. Hi, Greg. Nathan, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, like Ko. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a puff. Well, I'm gonna have to pass on that. I can't do it, at least as long as I got the job I got. That may be overseen, though. Who knows? But I'm not so inclined in those directions personally. Cindy Lou, Thanksgiving, Greg. Thank you. Well, I'm happy Thanksgiving. Well, I won't say happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hang on, guys. Just Mississippi Pure Blood tagging in. All right, Mason. Very good. John Slaymaker, happy Thanksgiving. Well, so I like to read everybody's message. It's hard to do. Very few channels actually read everybody's message, and as you get more and more people in the room, it gets harder and harder to do. But you know, I try my level best to give a good read to what people say, because we're a community, we're a family, and what a better time for a family than Thanksgiving, and that's why we're here, because this is my family gathering for today. I'm doing Thanksgiving with my kids and grandkids tomorrow. But I've been by myself. I've not seen another human being today. Nope. So you're my family today. I've had, I just ate some fried chicken, you know, in the microwave today. And I'd hoped to do taxes, but I decided, first I didn't go to bed at 6 o'clock this morning. I was up late night trying to figure out how in the world to make it survive, what kind of angles to be able to get through if I lose my day job, which may be imminent because I'm not taking certain things, you know, I'm not taking, you know what. And so I'm really struggling to figure out what's the best way to do it. You know, if I really had the worm farm up and operating, I might can make it that way. But realistically, it may be June before I'm ready to ship worms, and it's getting to be summer almost. So I don't know, it'd be late spring. So it's going to be kind of risky to rely on that. But I'm also setting my mushroom operation, microgreens operation. Maybe that can get me through. But I'm going to have to do some heavy, intense marketing to make that work. Hey, we got Doug in the house. Happy Thanksgiving, Doug. Hope you're feeling better. Doug is doing some really interesting tests where he's checking for halon gases in low-lying areas. Now, we may have to do a video with him soon, but he's not feeling so well, so we're going to wait a little bit. Hey, Sophia, how you doing? Fiddlesticks to create more divisions among family. Watch. Oh, what was that, Watchman? I'll be glad for Thanksgiving to be the one crying over the holidays. Totally forgot about those who are left alone with no family. Oh, okay. Well, hey, here we are. We can be together today right here, and we don't have to worry about social distancing and all that kind of lack of cheer. Ham and pumpkin pie stuff. All right, let's see. I took some pie per Mexican and feeling much better. Okay, I'm up for an interview whenever. Okay, very good, Doug. Glad to see you better. It's Greg and Boots Thanksgiving. Yeah, I got my cat Boots. So the cat boots is outside though. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. It's just casual preparedness. Okay, good to see you, casual preparedness. Happy Thanksgiving to you all from down here on the Gulf Coast of Alabama. It's on maple leaf. Vicky, I discovered that I probably won't see any Antifa or BLM trying to riot around here, the nearest town. Oh my God, really? Yeah, I don't care if the KKK. I don't like KKK either. I'm gonna tell you, I don't like KKK, but that will keep the Antifa and BLM probably. The Watchman, new mandates for Canadian truck drivers entering the country. Greg, and not Mexican. Yeah, that's. Yeah, we need to get our people working. That's what we need. That's what we need. Asteroid. Yeah, we're going to talk about asteroids. We're going to talk asteroids, meteorites, a little meteorite territory, or really big meteorites. And maybe we'll talk about asteroids. Yeah, we'll talk asteroids. So we're going to talk it. We're going to go all into it. I got a bunch of links open. I'm going to just show you a bunch of stuff. And we're going to talk about it in general. You're going to get it from an engineer here. So what's that about? Well, there was a guy today claiming that the Chelyabinsk meteor over Russia was covered up, that NASA hid it, that they didn't announce it. Oh, bull crap. Not true. We're going to go into it because we're discovering new stuff all the time. It was, we didn't know about it. It's easy to explain why. We'll get all into that. We're discovering these things all the time. And I cover every time. Look, I go into the asteroid list every Wednesday and Thursday night, just about it. And I show y'all the upcoming asteroids. I'm always showing y'all the stuff that we just found, that we did just missed us. So we're going to go into that, and we're going to talk about that quite a bit in a little bit. First, let's do this. Let's do some show. First, you know what? We'll talk about what we're thankful for. Today's Thanksgiving. Today is a day to stop, and you should have a Thanksgiving every day. Every day should be Thanksgiving from your heart, because Thanksgiving is giving thanks for the things you're thankful for. And the day that you miss that is a day that you really miss something, your real participation with the higher powers, the universe, yourself, your family. You know, I'm thankful to have life first and foremost, to have a moment, a brief little snap instance in the existence of all that is, to be cosmic, to be able to look out and go, wow. Yeah, it's not all good in our world. That's usually people related. You know, you look up in the sky and you see all the stars, there's clouds, you go through the mountains, the rivers, ocean, depths of the ocean. There's beauty. There's beauty everywhere. And, you know, I think part of our holy mission is to observe that beauty, to experience it, and to bring it back into the consciousness of all that is, the creator, and to that's one way that we appreciate his handiwork, is by appreciating it, you know, quite frankly. So her, you know, you're talking about something bigger in the universe, which in my mind, the greater creator is bigger than this unimaginably vast universe, which is beyond our comprehension. To me, I see the greater creator as being far bigger. So to sign genital, you can talk about the greater creator of all that we know and beyond anything we can even understand, being male or female. I don't know what that's got to do with it, because maybe it's got something to do with it, but that's even further beyond my comprehension. Okay. So, yeah. All right. So let's, what will I be thankful for? I'm mostly thankful for my family. You know, I'm thankful that I've got 3 kids that are all healthy, really. My son-in-law had a health issue. He's got over that. Now my son had Guillain-Barré disease. I guess he still got it, but he's coping. He's getting around. You know, he at one point he couldn't walk almost. He was in trouble, and that can be fatal. But he is overcome. He's overcome, and he's getting around. He's had the therapy. But yeah, he lost feeling in his legs, and that's a very scary thing. Hey, JoJo, how you doing? Hey, Inventor Lee Wilbarger. Hey, Inventor Lee Wilbarger. We're going to talk about asteroids in a little bit. You need to hang on. I want to kind of bust Marshall Masters a little bit. I did a little bit in Rex's chat room. Hope Rex didn't get mad at me about it, but Rex and I've kind of talked about him a little bit before. You know, the guy may have a good heart. He may mean well, but he's and he does a lot of research, but he's just a little, yeah, he's got a little spin that's a little off in my humble opinion. And we're going to go into that. And I'm trying to be charitable here. April comes. I'm lacking social graces these days myself. That's all right. That's all right. Hey, you're here. You're being social. Watchman, we keep having these shortages and depletions. Oh, let me have to scroll that back down. It just went off page. Of our country, and they make it worse and worse, not better. That's true. That's true. We are having supply chain breakages, and that's something I predicted. You know, I did a video talking about our country literally in disintegration because of a lack of people would want to work, especially we had a living wage. And people got all over me about that. Oh, no, Greg, you're just being a baby boomer. That ain't true. Blah, what? We got robotics. We got this. We got that. Everything will be fine. Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay, you tell me how that's working out for you right now. Anyway, it's not fun. Pyramid 7, Lee is, yeah. That's why I'm here. Oh, very good. Very good, Lee. Yeah, Lee likes this kind of stuff. We're going to do the asteroids. Before we go into the asteroids, though, first I just want to say I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for my subscribers. You're part of my family. And I feel better every time we get in here and chat. So I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful that we have our friendship here. I'm thankful, like I said, for my family, for my kids, my grandkids. You know, that gives me a lot. I'm going to have my little Thanksgiving tomorrow with them, and we're going to go out and eat somewhere. At least, you know, I was going to cook a bunch of stuff. I was actually in the grocery store with a cart with a big old turkey in it, and I was talking to my daughter, trying to see what she was going to bring, because she said you'll bring stuff. She said, Dad, just go pick up barbecue. And I called the other kid, and the other kid says, Dad, why don't we just go out and eat? So you don't have to clean up anything. I went, okay. Hey, they're trying to make it light on me. They know I'm a super incredibly busy guy. Now, the only thing I really wanted to make was pecan pies. I really wanted to make pecan pies, but I couldn't find any frozen pie shells. I make the pies up there. Don't do the pie shells. Okay, let's do a little quick show. I'm going to show y'all my new channel, guys. I'm going to do a share. Ding, 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 ding. Let's see. We're going to go right here. And where is it? Here we go. I have just started a new channel, and I'm calling it Product Pappas. That's the name of the new channel. Product Pappas. PRODUCTPAPS. And we come in the chat room here, and I'm going to share this video, the very first posting on Product Pappas. And hang on, guys. I'm going to put this in the chat room. No, I don't stutter. I did it on purpose. Bring Greg's family. That's right. You're part of it. Thank you. That's Cincinnati Jack. All right. So I just shared this Product Pappas video here. BBQ bird is good stuff. That's true, too. That's true, too. Hey, I've cooked a bird on a grill with stuff full of oranges. You know, that was one of the best birds I ever ate. And everybody was just going raving on it. Okay. So Product Pappas right here, guys. I did a review of these 3 impact drills, Kobalt with a 24-volt system, a 20-volt DeWalt, and an 18-volt Milwaukee. They each got their own attributes, strengths and weaknesses, but this is a good place to come see them, especially with Black Friday coming, Black Friday, or whatever we call it. Yeah, Black Friday, the big shopping day. Some of you may want some of this stuff. I've not got many views on it. So what I'd like for y'all to do is go in and view this video and subscribe to this channel. It's a brand new channel. First video posted today. I've got a bunch of videos that I've made for this channel. I've been making them for, I've actually made this video, I think last winter, most of it. Yeah, the whole video actually. So I got a few other videos that I've got that I'm going to be posting up here that I've already made, and eventually I'll make more. So I think, you know, I'm going to be building a place in Arizona, hopefully. I'm always building stuff. So why not start, you know, reviewing some of the stuff, tools I work with, or just, you know, regular things. I'm going to do a review on the safety of a charging cable, you know, which only caught fire on me, which happened to be next to my alcohol in my vehicle. I got a video I'm going to do on Dodge minivans, various other products, probably stupid Samsung phones too, quite a few things. So y'all can tell me which kind of reviews you like best. I'm gonna do one on 100% whole wheat bread, which I found had soy products in it. How can you be 100% whole wheat if you got soy in it? Come on, that's not right, right? All right, we're gonna go to asteroids. We're gonna start a little asteroid talk here. A lot of layers in the secret there, Gypsy. So we got Lee in the house. We got to talk asteroids. I know that's why he came. So let me squeeze this down a little bit where I can get over where I want to go. We're going to start out with space weather because this is something I cover all the time. I go through this almost every time I do a live chat. Maybe not every time, but very close. We come here to space weather. Now, this comes from the NEO site, the Jet Propulsion Laboratories, potentially hazardous asteroid sites. And you can go in here and you can click on these things. You can click on these various asteroids and pull up the links to them. But what we find here, if you look at this chart, it always has something in common every time you see it. And I always point it out. When you're looking at the more dangerous asteroids, they're pink. They're pink, guys. No pie shells. Use pecan, really any nut, chop fine and pack, make a crust. Well, yeah, I guess you could do that too. Not a bad idea. My pies are just about, they're chock full of nuts. I don't make a little veneer on top. It's nuts through and through. All right. That's not a bad idea though. Hey, thanks. That's a good tip. All right. So the red ones are the ones that's coming closest. They're considered the most hazardous. And so they color them red on here. And what you will notice is you got more red in the past than in the future. And I always point this out. For example, what's the day? The day's the 25th of November, 1 month from Christmas. A good date to remember. Ho, ho, ho. You got Santa Claus in the house right now, right in front of you, right? Ho, ho, ho. So look at this. We got the 25th of November from the day backwards, tons of red. Looking forward, only one red. And why is that? It's because we just discovered all these objects. It's that whoop, one went by, whoop, that one went by, whoop, there's one, whoop, there's one. Look at this. If you look from the day, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is that all? Yeah. 16 posts. How many of them's red? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 out of 16 are red. What's that mean? Let's do a little quick math. 6 divided by 16. Wow, 37%, 37.5%, almost 38% of all the asteroids in these past few weeks that we've got on this chart, we just discovered them. We just discovered these asteroids. So about a third, better than a third of everything flying by, we're just finding it. Especially when they zip by because they're small. There's so many of them, and a lot of them are have a very low albedo, albedo, not libido, albedo, which is reflectivity. I don't know about their libido, but they got low albedo. So they're hard to see, and it's, occasionally they come from the sun, but that's not, that's not the excuse. There's no excuse other than that they're just small. There's so many of them out there that we're discovering them left and right, which is a good thing. The more we discover, eventually this will have less and less red in the past as we find more and more and get a better database of everything out there. But right now we're finding them like crazy, and it's usually the smaller ones, 15 meters, 18 meters, 6 meters, 32 meters, 47. Now those are big. Those are pretty big. They can do a lot of damage. That 47, 30. We're going to go into that. We're going to talk all about this in a little bit. 9 meter. All right. See, these, every one of these, without exception, has a 2021 date on it. You see this? These were just discovered, and they got high letters. 2021, 2021, 2021, 2021, 2021, 2021. Every one of these was just discovered. And some of these coming up are also 2021s, but you'll see less 2021s down here. We're finding these things left and right. Left and right. So for somebody to say just because one grazed Earth that it was a cover up, but that NASA didn't tell us about it, blah, 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 that is bunk. These are coming at us all the time, and we're just finding them. We're just finding them left and right. That little Chibinks meteorite we wouldn't have seen it. It was small. Had not yet been discovered. And now we found it, of course, and when it hit us, fortunately, it exploded high in atmosphere. We're going to talk about that. So that was one of the things. Holy smokes, Batman, says JoJo. I'm going to start a strict immune boosting protocol. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea, guys. Some bugs are getting up north. They're not down here too much. Marshall Masters is on Rick's show talking about Planet X and Asteroid. That's why I'm doing this. Planet X, I never said there wasn't a Planet X. Never said that. You know, there's some anomalies and perturbations of Neptune's orbit. It's well known. Some people had begun to think maybe it was caused by the aggregate number and disparity of the asteroids out there. The Kuiper Belt Oort cloud objects. Maybe they were doing in aggregate having the effect of a planetary mass. Yeah, mathematically that's possible. It's not that probable unless something else caused them to have some disparity in their locations. So, and someone said, well, maybe Earth passed our sun past a star, blah, blah, blah. That's all possible. But I never ruled it out. Now, what I did say is we don't have a big planet just about to zoom around from the other side of the sun any second, whack us like a lot of Nibiru people kept telling us. And I did a whole video explaining why that was bonkers. And I can go in it more in a little bit if you want to hear it. But there's no planets on the verge of just sneaking up on us. And Marshall Masters used to claim that a lot. I don't know if he's claiming it now. He didn't say that in this video, at least the part I heard. So I'll give him a little credit there. But he has in the past been talking that kind of stuff. Like it's about to swing around, it's about to get us. We're about to get smashed in the head. This is going to get us. You know, he had some fear mongering. Now, a lot of people accuse me in my videos of fear mongering. You know, I just put things out there that if I see that there's a hazard, danger, I'll let you know. But I also let you know if something's been overinflated. And look, I am a space guy and I worry about asteroids. And one of the big reasons to justify doing space stuff is the potential for asteroid impacts. But so, you think I'd be the number one guy out here talking about it. And I do. But I don't, you got to be measured about what you say. There is a risk, but it's not, we're about to get hit by some things dragging in from another planet any minute now. I subbed to a new channel. Hey, thank you, Sophia. Appreciate that. We'll go back over and see how many subs we got here in a little bit. 40-meter size meter is very down. It is, definitely. We're going to go into that. We're going to show that here in a minute. We're going to talk about the Chubut explosion. We're going to talk about the Tunguska explosion and the Barringer crater in Arizona and compare these because there's nice charts out there. And we're going to talk about what we do with these things and some stuff we can do about them. People were asked, talking about this. And East Tennessee preparedness, happy Thanksgiving. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you. I'm thankful. I am not aware. I am aware, not woke. Got it. Very good, Wiesel. And, the key thing is being informed. Understanding the risk we actually face. We face a lot of risk right now. And domestically, with crime and violence, it looks like it's about to go haywire. That's something to be concerned about. And we'll talk about that at the end of this video. But now that I'm on a tear here, I just look at the moon and Earth. Yeah, we've been hit. Oh, yeah, we've been hit. And the moon gets hit. And yeah, we're going to go all into that. It's definitely true. Definitely true. There is a risk. It's a real risk. I mean, we're in a shooting gallery, cosmic shooting gallery, basically. But here's the real risk. Here's the real story. If you look here, we're discovering this stuff constantly. Over 30, almost 38% of everything is here within the past few days, 5 days on this chart. We just found it. We just discovered it. And that's the way this chart has looked ever since I've been showing it to you guys. The present day and the days in the past that they got on here is heavy red. The days forward, not so much so, which means there's a lot of stuff we just don't know. I'm serious. We don't know every little object out there yet, but we will know more. We're discovering them all the time. The number of asteroids we're aware of is going up. So check this out. There is what's coming at us that we know of. What is there anything to be worried about? So I keep looking at it. Usually when you look forward, there's this one is a 4-meter object, which don't scare me too bad, but it's going to come 5.7 lunar distances from Earth. Now this one is coming closer. It must have a high velocity to get on this chart. No, it's 4.6 lunar distances. Excuse me. It's 4 meters, 4.6 lunar distances, and the velocity. No, the velocity is not that high. Okay. So this is the lunar distance side here. So if you scroll up, yeah, that's the closest one. So guys, the lunar distance is 230,000 miles. So this is well over 1 million miles away that's going to pass this. Now, Earth's only 8,000 miles in diameter. So if you put it in perspective, Earth's small. So this is going way out. Zoom! But we count that. And you see articles all the time in British tabloid things, the stuff that going in the news feeds. Huge asteroids about to zing right past Earth, you know, and just like trying to scare something. You know, it's the size of the Big Ben, the size of the Eiffel Tower, you know, they throw all that stuff out. Great Pyramid, you know, that's always been thrown out. I see it like an article almost every day in some of the news feeds. I'm looking at it, but I know what's coming. I always just chuckle when I see it. It's like, really, come on, guys, that is sensationalism, and you know, I don't quite, you know, go into that. So it's kind of sort of true, but you know, 1 million miles, it ain't going to get us. Not now. Don't mean it won't in the future, but not now. You know, I just did a video saying asteroids are not about it. Don't worry about them yet. Don't mean that one won't hit. You know, that's why I say you don't want to live. You know, I'd prefer people not live below 500 feet, you know, above sea level, that you might get a tsunami, either an asteroid or from Putin's Poseidon torpedo with the Palma nuclear device in it. You know, that would really cause a huge radioactive tsunami. So here at court, nice info, Greg, buddy. Hey, I'm trying to bring you the real stuff. Watchman says we've always worried about aliens, but look what happens if one lands here. He's dissected and hidden away. Yeah, guys, you know, don't worry about the things you can't control. Hi, Greg, and happy Thanksgiving, Rebel Rose. So good to see you, Rebel Rose. Too late, says April. Well, guys, look, there's things we can do. Infinity, Will Bogger, happy T-Day, Four Corners Report. Good to see you, Four Corners Report. Oh, now Lee says it will be a biblical moment. It will come to a Jesus moment for a lot of people. Now, the Bible's got it in the Bible. There's in the Bible, it sounds like we're getting hit left and right. That flaming mountain that falls in the ocean. Some people think that's La Palma, but that could be an asteroid. Wormwood. And then there's all the stuff that's getting thrown down. So and the darkening of the sky, the kind of effects described in the Bible, are the kind of effects you would get should an asteroid strike. Which strikes me as interesting, pun intended, that they could predict something hitting the Earth, and the effects that come after being prophesied, which they don't necessarily say is tied to that, are just the exact same kind of effects you would get if an asteroid hit the Earth. So that makes me pay a little attention to this prophecy stuff there. That really, you know, prophesying 200 million people would cross the Tigris and Euphrates River from the east when the world only had 50 million people on it. That's somewhat interesting. Now, I've heard people say, well, that was just a conglomerate of people crossing so many times. Well, I've had people argue that to me. Maybe. But they're also coming from the only direction that could source armies of that size. And there's only been two countries that could do it, either India or China. Me no think of India be do that. Okay. But, you know, you also read about the conflicts taking out huge percentages of the world's population. The conflict between India and China, yeah, it would do that. It would be catastrophic. And we would feel the effects of it right here with weather and UV radiation hitting the ground. It would be ugly. So let's go more into this. So what we've established here that we're finding these things left and right. I mean, look at the dates. These are the discovery dates on these objects. 2021, 2021, 20, and see a lot of these are 2021s. When you go forward, you see a few 2021s, but not as many. And most of them are in the next few days. As you go further in the future, there's less and less 2021s. There's one. But that's a BA, which means it was discovered earlier in the year. So there you go, guys. I'm seriously, we are discovering these things left and right. All right, now that I've established that, but there's nothing to be worried about hitting us tonight. Okay, so have some solace, please. Now, just to give you some example, this is the Chelyabinsk explosion. The Chelyabinsk explosion, here's a photograph of it, guys. It was brighter than the sun. for a shy moment. It hit right about here in Russia, and the what they call it? It's the Chelyabinsk Oblast, and in Russia and in Ukraine, where we got states and counties that get oblast. That's what they call them. So if we look at this thing now, here's a chart that shows the size of the Chelyabinsk object, about 20 meters, and this is the Tunguska object, which was about roughly 65 meters across. 20 meters. So we talked about stuff being 40 meters doing a lot of damage. Oh yeah. I see these aren't anywhere near as big as the Empire State Building or the Eiffel Tower that we always hear reports about. But you don't have to be that big to cause grave damage. Now, these were probably stony asteroids. The kind of the depth of penetration into the atmosphere. Rebel, how you doing? She says, hi, Greg, and all happy Thanksgiving. The depth you go into the atmosphere. Maybe I should stop this share for a second. Well, let me just show this stuff some more. And I'll explain atmospheric penetration, the type of asteroid it is, stony, iron. It makes a big difference to how far it's going to go down into the atmosphere. This one was grazing across the atmosphere. You can see it came in at a grazing approach. That's why it streamed across the way it did. And it got to the point that when the asteroid blows up is when the dynamic pressure of drag on the surface of it exceeds the material strength that can withstand that pressure. Once the pressure exceeds what the material inside the asteroid can withstand, it goes boom. That's why a metal asteroid might hit the ground, where a stony one will blow up in the sky, like Tunguska event, Chelyabinsk event. Look here, see this destroyed. Look at this warehouse here, guys. It took the roof off. This thing took the roof off this warehouse. A lot of people were injured by glass and things like that. Let's see, it did about $33 million in damage US dollars. Well, that's because stuff's cheaper in Russia. If it was in America, that'd be being a whole lot more money. Some people had flash blindness, ultraviolet burns, sunburn. There were glass, a lot of things like that. So there were a lot of injuries from this event. There was an overpressure wave. So some people think this come out of the torrid meteor shower stream. They also think Tunguska came out of that. There was an asteroid that hit the moon that my friend Rob Suggs observed, found. He's in Wikipedia for that, by the way. So let's see what else we can say. This thing was it generated a flash. It was 400 to 500 kilotons, which is 26 to 33 times more explosive than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. So put that in perspective, guys. A lot more powerful, but it's higher in the atmosphere. And so if it were on the ground, it'd be very bad. Now, the Tunguska event was much worse. The Tunguska event, we'll get to that in a minute, laid down trees over an area larger than the District of Columbia. Very large area, had all the trees knocked down, but there was nobody there, fortunately. Most of the earth is unoccupied. And, because we live in our little, rat mazes or ant mazes where we're on the highways and in the cities, and we see the whole world has been full of people. When you fly over, you discover, it's not the case. So let's see, what else we want to cover on this thing? Yeah, hit a low trajectory, but this one had, some of the first cases of proved injuries that we could definitely associate with an asteroid, or meteorites. Although there have been other reports of that, this was the first that was absolutely verifiable. There have been many reports that people have been injured by meteor showers, things like this in the past, especially in China. There were some big events way back in the past. So there's a chart down here which is going to occur in all the next pages I'm going to show you. This is a Boeing 747. This is a new Route Master bus. Is that the British double-decker bus? Okay, this is a Boeing 747. All right. This is the Hoba meteorite up here. This is the one that made the Barringer crater. Now, this was an iron meteorite. It hit the ground and made a big crater. And that crater is a little over a kilometer in diameter, about 39,000 feet in diameter. We're going to get to it in a little bit. It's thought this thing was about 50 meters. So yeah, 40-meter asteroid could do a lot of things. The Tunguska event was created by something about 50 to 80 meters, bigger than the Barrington, probably the Barrington crater origin, but it was a stony meteorite which totally exploded in the atmosphere and left no crater on the ground whatsoever. Chelyabinsk is thought to be 17 to 20 meters. And here's a Solazvi, whatever that is, 5 to 10 meters, just by comparison. So that's important to understand. So this guy was maybe up to 33 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. So yeah, these are a lot bigger. Of course, you look at Barrington crater, that's a huge crater. I've seen it from the air flying over Arizona on my way to Los Angeles, flying across country. I've seen that crater. It sticks out. It's easy to see. Meteor crater, and there it is, my friends. Meteor crater, Barrington crater, whichever you want to call it. Crater, when this happened, how come it ain't showing on the map when I click on it? That's weird. All right, there it is. When this happened, it probably killed everything in this whole area. Everything in that whole area, most of North Arizona, including where my property is probably got wiped out. So I'm gonna have to make a trip over there one day. Maybe we'll do a video from Barrington crater. And this was an iron meteorite. My friend Ed Kiker have had on my channel here. He's got chunks of this meteorite at his house. He may have gave me a little piece of it. And it even had a mine in the bottom of it at one time. But you can see this, there it is. You can see it from the air. You see, there it is. This is a big hole, a very big hole. When that thing hit, it threw ejecta for a long distance all around. It would have had a strong blast wave. You would not want to have been in the area when that thing hit. Oh, look, it's square. It couldn't possibly be a meteor. It's square. Some people say they all have to be round. No, they're not. This is our different dynamics of the blast. Okay. Let's look up. Whoop. I messed up my share. Let me hit back to share. Just trying to go somewhere else here. Here's Tunguska event. They're not showing the see, this hit in Siberia right about here. Come in at an angle and just knock trees down. They're not giving us a really good picture of I got some view graphs that show this. This is what they found decades later. They came into the site decades after the fact and found that the trees still knocked down. The trees that were direct center where it hit were standing straight up because the blast wave went straight down. They were stripped of all their branches, and everything else was laid down radially outwards all around it. So that's what I'm missing here. Blood leads, yep, says Wild Amos. Watch the water, 4 corners link to new channel, please. Oh yeah, okay. We got to put the link in the new channel. Oh, and I haven't scrolled all the way to the bottom. We'll do that here again in a second. Wow, LOL, can't type tonight. Hey, I can't ever type. So yeah, we'll do that. Hang on, let me get over here to my impact drills. This is the video. I'll do a channel link later. I'll hit you this video right now. Let's do an update and see what it shows on this in terms of 55 views. Okay, so you guys are watching it. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Y'all can go key it in. And all right, 22 subscribers. Very good. Thank y'all. Thank you. That's something to be thankful for. Because I only had 3 before we started tonight. And I'll come in here and I'll post that right here. That's the video. The video, the product Pappas. Impact drill run off the head there. So let's come back over here to asteroid stuff. Tunguska event. Near Earth objects. This is a map of near Earth objects that we know about. We are in it. This is Jupiter. Of course, the sun's down here. And there's the orbit of Mercury. So something's going inside the orbit of Mercury. Venus, Earth. Look at all these objects crossing our orbit. Now, most of the asteroids are out here in the asteroid belt. They don't cross over. These are just the mappings of the ones that come close to Earth. There's a lot more out here. So we are in a shooting gallery. I kid you not, we are in a shooting gallery. Like I said, there is a risk. I mean, Earth will be hit with stuff. There's no doubt about it. Now, here's an animation, guys. I love this animation. Check this out. Now, so you can see these points, they have to be a point that's kind of large. But, you know, these points look as big as Earth, you know, because they're just making them on Mars. They're, you know, they're not that big, relatively speaking. But look, we got tons of these things out here, you see? See, this is Mars. See, beyond Mars is lots of them. That's where the asteroid belt is, between Mars and Jupiter. Now, some of these in the asteroid belt come in, and this is supposed to be known near-Earth objects. So all of these will come inside and maybe go back to us. That's what you see them going in. So a lot of them are resident here, but something's perturbed and orbits have changed such that they come in close to Earth and go back out. And there are some, though, that orbit inside the Earth's orbit. They're totally within Earth's orbit. You can see some of these are near circular here. Looks like I caught a cloud of them near our orbit here. Even inside the orbit of Mercury, you get these things. Of course, if you look at Mercury, Mercury's covered in craters too, guys. Mercury's got its craters. There's one right there. Radar images taken near-Earth asteroid discoveries by survey. Now, this chart was probably made at the probably like just the first week of 2020. But you know, the discoveries are going up. We're finding more and more of them. This is the different programs that we have that are discovering these asteroids. So we're finding lots of them. See, back here we weren't finding so many, but now we're watching for them, and now we're discovering lots of them. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So, and here's the other thing to bear in mind. Let's go back to this. Every one of these asteroids could be a hazard. Every one of these asteroids can hit Earth, and a lot of them could destroy cities, wipe out supply chains, local environments, or even wipe us out. They can end civilization. You could have something that break civilization now without being an extinction level event, because civilization is fragile. I pointed that out before in other videos. Civilization is fragile. So we're discovering today with our supply chain issues. We're fragile, guys. Too fragile. Power grid I talk about. You don't have to be a dinosaur wiper outer to take down our civilization. Much smaller asteroids would do that job quite nicely. Unfortunately, that's why we got to get our civilization more robust, and we got to do things about these. Now, there are ways to move these things around to keep them hitting us. But yeah, if we just went up there and mined these asteroids and turned them into something useful, like these guys, large cylinders that people could live in space, then there would be less stuff flying around to hit us. Is this not a beautiful vision? These are called O'Neill cylinders. Gerard K. O'Neill was behind the development of this concept. Gerard K. O'Neill, they're called space colonies, for lack of better terminology, I guess. Space manufacturing facilities, space habitats. This concept is for something 20 miles long and 4 miles in diameter. It would have clouds and weather inside. It would point toward the sun, straight at the sun, and these mirrors would reflect sunlight. It would have alternate land and window areas. And this was all doable with 1970s bridge building technology. So this is the idea of a Golden Gate Bridge inside of one, and a river, stream, mountains, cottages, bays, cities. And you can build a lot of it from material on the moon with a mass driver. But this can also be an enormous weapon system. This is why we don't want the Chinese getting to the moon first. With a weapon system like this on the moon, they could deny us access to space. They would own space. I'm going to do a video on that real soon. We cannot afford not to go to the moon. The China aim. We have to go. And they may be ahead of us. Thanks to Jeff Bezos lawsuit really tripped up our program. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. You may have just gave the moon to the Chinese. Unfortunately, the strange thing is this: Jeff Bezos is fond of this concept. He may have just messed this up. But then again, he does own the Washington Compost. So what do you expect, right? Anybody that own the Washington Compost, you got to worry about. April is natural, but could be introduced by tweak in new mutants. Colonies always mutate. Generation ship. So the generation ship would be maybe sealed all the way around and have an internal light source. And it's on the way to some other star system. But they would be built along this principle too, very much so. Rotational habitat, providing artificial gravity through centrifugal force. It's a beautiful concept. And there's a lot more beautiful artwork of them today. This is stuff was driven. These drawings were done by my friend Don Davis back in, I believe, 1976 or something like that. They don't even credit him on here. He's one of my Facebook friends, by the way, guys. Yeah, I know him from the International Space Development Conferences. You know, I chaired the 1993 International Space Development Conference. And let me just show y'all something. You see this picture? When it focuses, all right. A little skinny guy, young guy, that's me. The other guy is Gerard K. O'Neill. The guy who came up with that space habitat concept, that is Gerard K. O'Neill. We are in Fairbanks, Alaska. My buddy, who I talk about a lot, Ed Kiker, and I went up to see him. This is back when I met Ed Kiker. We started the North Star L5 Society. And that's at the University of Fairbanks. Yeah, look how skinny guy I was when I was a soldier in the Army at Fort Greely, Alaska, where I lived 2 years. I made Post Soldier of the Year there. So I have been, the L5 Society was formed for the purpose to disband. Yes, the L5 Society had it in their purpose to disband. That's what they formed for, was to disband. And let's see if I can find a good drawing to explain that on here. Yep, we formed for the express purpose of disbanding. Hang on a minute, guys. I'm going to find my range. There we go. Ding 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 ding. Oh shoot. Come on. Here we go. I'm gonna share this. Momentum, please. Ding 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 doing. See, it was proposed back in the 70s that a potential great site to put these space habitats was in the Lagrange points in the Earth-Moon system. But this is now these are the Earth-Sun Lagrange points. It looks like, and we've got satellites in them on the other side of the sun, monitoring the other side of the sun. But there's also anywhere you got one body orbiting another, you got these Lagrange points, and it also includes, if this was the Earth and that was the Moon, you'd have the same thing. The L2 point was where they wanted to shoot stuff from the mass driver on the Moon, which, you know, you could have shot stuff in space for like 50 cents a pound from the Moon, as opposed to all the lift cost money from Earth. And that was deemed to be a way to build large space manufacturing facilities, either that way or from asteroidal mined objects, which now we know there's a lot more of those than we used to think. And the L4 and the L5 point may have materials already present there, kind of like the Trojan asteroids that are trapped in the Jupiter's sun L4 and L5 points. And we just sent an asteroid to try and go that way, and it had an antenna that didn't deploy correctly, or a solar array didn't deploy correctly. So let's hope the origami James Webb telescope deploys correctly. So the Lagrange points, this was determined by a French mathematician, Lagrange, in the 1700s. A lot of mathematics and sciences worked out back then. 60 degrees ahead and trailing the orbit of an object from the parent body is the Lagrange point. And these have the best gravity wells, or the most stable points. If you have an object here and you perturb it, it will tend to fall back into the same point. There's also the L3, L1, and L2. L1 is between the two bodies. and it's going to be closer to the smaller body because it's basically the center of the mass between the two systems. Well, it's inversely actually, but it's going to be closer to the smaller body. And you got the L3 point in the orbit of the orbiting body on the other side, and you got L2, which is the same distance as L1 away on the other side of this body. These are places where you can easily put stuff. Now, in the Sun-Earth system, where well, actually in the Earth-Moon system, the sun also figures into that. So what you really got is a stable area about 90,000 miles around these Lagrange points that you can put just tons of stuff there. Now, it may not be the best place to put stuff for moving things between the Earth and the Moon. So some people talk about 2-1 resonant orbit being better. So you go around the Earth every, once every 2 days, unlike the geosynchronous satellites, which goes around exactly once a day, so they stay overhead. So there's a lot of different ideas for where to put these things. But you're outside of most of the Van Allen belt out here, but you would still use a lot of radiation shielding. About 6 foot of dirt would be under your feet on these habitats. Or, so the L5 Society was named after this point. I was one of the early members of the L5 Society. And as a matter of fact, I started 3 chapters of the L5 Society, the Cumberland L5 Society, the North Star L5 Society, and the Huntsville, Alabama L5 Society, which is still existent today. And I started my altitude liftoff program, building these hybrid rockets, launching them from balloons as part of that. I chaired an International Space Development Conference when I was the president of the Huntsville, Alabama L5 Society. Now it's HAL 5. It's like the granddaddy of HAL, the computer, right? So guys, I am a space guy. So this is what these guys look like. I don't know, let's show the orbits on some of those to show it here around these. There we go. There we go. So you got this huge area around the Lagrange points where it's actually stable, not just at the point itself. So you can put a ton of things in orbit around either the Earth-Moon Lagrange points, the Earth-Sun Lagrange points. You could put a lot of stuff out there. And the Earth-Sun Lagrange points probably have materials in them already that you could mine. The small, it might be dust or meteoroids. So there's a lot of possible asteroid strikes. Yeah, we just got through talking about a lot about asteroid strikes in here. But I'm talking about now what to do with the asteroids. And I'm saying use them to build space habitats and space manufacturing, because it's cheaper to take stuff that's already in space than to take stuff out of the gravity well of Earth with a big rocket. Even if SpaceX is doing it. Yeah, SpaceX claims that their Starship will be able to launch stuff. Stop the share here. They claim their Starship will be able to launch stuff for the cost of fuel, which is roughly $9 a pound, as opposed to $15,000 a pound right now to get stuff into space. So if this program works, it's going to be revolutionary, huge revolutionary in terms of space access. Unless Russia puts so much debris up there in orbit we can't get there, or China gets that mass driver on the moon before we do and denies us access. I'm going to do a video on that in the not too distant future. I've got a lot of the charts. I built a lot of the charts for like probably 6 months ago. I just, I don't always have time to finish things. I'm so busy. It's like I'll get around to it eventually. So, so let's talk about an asteroid. When asteroids coming in, there are some asteroids that are carbonaceous chondrites. They're basically full of volatile materials, carbons and nitrogen, maybe water, maybe. Usually, if they come in the inner solar system, especially the water on the outside will burn up. There may be waters on the inside. And some people think, my friend, Dr. What is his name? I want to do an interview with him. I'm trying to get him on Rex's show too. Rex would love him. You guys would love this guy. Oh shit, I'm getting brain locked. He's a good friend of mine. I can't think of his name right now. He believes he's found. I got him on Galactic Greg's. I got a video with him on Galactic Greg's. He believes he has found fossils and meteorites, quite extensive actually. Meteorites picked up from Antarctica. He would go to Antarctica quite frequently. I can't think of his name. So there's another guy's name crossing my mind. It's a problem. I hate it when that happens. I can't get the other guy's name out of my mind right now. It may come to me a little bit. I'm thinking a guy named Hale that used to be in a group, but that's not him. It'll come to me later because I know the guy's a friend, but he's also famous for these fossils that he believes come. It could be that these carbonaceous chondrites may have, at least we know they have the precursors of life. We know they got complex molecules. Okay, I'm just seeing some comments. Yeah, I got to get back to the chat room here in a little bit. So the strange thing is that those are going to explode high in the atmosphere because they don't have a lot of strength to them. A stony meteorite, most of them are stony, will also explode high in the atmosphere. An iron meteorite, well, a meteorite, right means it hits the ground. A meteor is the object. No, a meteor is the vapor trail. It's the flash. The meteoroid is the little stone or pebble or flake of dust or size of, or sometimes the size of a grain of sand, or maybe 6 miles across. They might wipe you out. So a meteoroid is the actual stony pebble, whatever. It's the material object. Meteor is the plasma trail. The meteorite is what you call that meteoroid when it hits the ground. Okay, but they don't all hit the ground. Or maybe particles from them hit the ground. But what happens is, as they come through the atmosphere, as they're plowing in, the drag force that the air creates on it is equal to like the square of the surface area and the velocity. So it's really opposing it with huge drag, huge forces hitting that meteorite as it's plowing in. When that force exceeds the material withstanding, what is the word for that? What the material inside can withstand for pressure. If that force exceeds the strength of the material, the meteoroid will explode. Chelyabinsk up in the high in the sky. There's some impact things. I missed showing y'all some charts. I got to go back through my charts. That stuff explodes high in the sky. The Barringer crater, though, that guy punched to the ground. Bam! Intact. Created a big crater. It was probably a little bit smaller than Tunguska meteoroid. Probably smaller, asteroid, you might say. It was probably just a little bit smaller than that one, but it was iron. So it hit the ground. Bam! Nickel iron, probably. Nickel iron. It hit the ground. Made a big crater. Whereas Tunguska exploded in the atmosphere. Now, it came close enough, though, unlike Chelyabinsk, that it made a huge explosion and laid trees out over an area larger than Washington, D.C. Had that happened at Washington, D.C., something hit that close, it would have wiped out buildings everywhere. And a lot of people would have been no longer with us. That would have been fatal to lots and lots of people. If that happens to any city, that would destroy a city without even hitting the ground. There's no crater to the Tunguska event. And for that reason, the Russians are convinced it's a comet. But once you understand that withholding strength of the meteoroid, you can understand that a stony meteoroid will do the same thing as a comet. It will explode where it hits the ground. A comet will explode higher up. Those comets, like a dirty snowball, they're kind of like a carbonaceous chondritic asteroid. All right, let's see. I'm going to go back into the share screen here. See what I missed. I missed showing y'all something. Let's get back in here. There are some charts. I want to get rid of this. This is the Lagrange points, also known as Lobitration points. So they go by either Lobitration points or Lagrange points. Sometimes the ones between Earth and the Sun, they use an E, E1, E2, E3, E4. The ones with Jupiter sometimes are designated J's. So you see a mix of designations, what they call them, Lagrange or Lobitration. Lagrange is named after the guy who discovered them. Lobitration is the effect. So, and I'm an old member of the L5 Society, and I could show you pictures of me wearing L5 pins. So halo, let's see here. There we are. There's the O'Neill cylinders. It would be nice if we could build these from those. All right, and then we're going to come in here and the Earth object. Maybe it's down here at the bottom of this page. Now there's a lot of data here, guys. Oh, that chart's there too. Here we go. This is what I want to show. Bolide events. These are events where you had explosions high in the atmosphere. You know, they see these things on satellites a lot of times. We don't even know it on the ground because there's a lot of stuff like cometary debris that explodes really high in the atmosphere. Small asteroids that disintegrated in Earth's atmosphere from 1994 to 2013. Look at that chart, guys. Look at that chart. Now, if the Earth didn't have an atmosphere, like if you were on Mars or Moon, that stuff would have been hitting the ground. So Mars is going to get peppered by a lot of stuff. Not quite as bad as the Moon, but the Martian atmosphere is only 1/100th as thick as Earth's atmosphere. It's just like Earth's atmosphere at 100 miles high. At 100 miles high, the Earth's atmosphere is only 1% as thick as it is on the ground. Isn't that weird? The symmetry, 100 miles up, English metric units, you get 1% of the atmosphere. Maybe the English metric unit is divine. Just kidding. Interesting coincidence. Kind of like the apparent size of the Earth and Moon from Earth. I mean, the Earth and the Moon and the Sun from Earth they look like they're the same size relative to where we're at this point in time. As the Moon moves further away, it will look smaller. At one time, it looked a lot bigger, but the surface of the Sun is 400 times bigger across, and it's 400 times further away. So it's just kind of one of those funny coincidences. Maybe that's because we live in a special time. Maybe these are all markers of something special. But guys, look at this. This is the energy in gigajoules of the event. Gigajoules. Yeah, that's a good number for Back to the Future time machine, right? Look at that. That one might have been right over the Barringer crater. We can zoom in a little bit. That's it. So let's see here. Yeah, I want y'all to see that. Well, shoot. Let me get out of this thing. That was one of the charts I really wanted y'all to see. So again, the Tunguska event, you know, we've seen the debris field or just what it looks like. These, every dot here represents a known asteroid that approaches near Earth. But the good news is space is huge. These dots, to be able to see them, are relatively speaking much larger than the real objects. Now, once every 100 years, we probably have 3 of them that might make an explosion on the ground. Chelyabinsk and Tunguska being roughly 100 years apart, and 1/3 of the world is covered by gas land, and 2/3 is ocean. So there's probably a lot of them in the ocean we haven't seen. There was a mushroom cloud sighted in the Sea of Japan back in the 80s by airline pilots. It was probably one of these things hitting, you know, over water. But eventually one is going to hit land, you know, or destroy a city. It could provoke a nuclear war. That's the scary part. That's the scary part. All right, so we've covered this stuff. Lee's still in the room? Let me go back through the. So when Marshall Masters says, well, you know, NASA has hiding it, you know, they hid the Chelyabinsk station. They hid it, you know. It was a cover-up. Bonkers. Come on, guys. We're discovering these things all the time. That's what I just showed you earlier. And I talk about that every time I come to this chart right here, down here, guys. I look at this, and all these are the ones we just discovered. Oops, it just went past us. Happens all the time. And I showed you also the discovery chart, the rate at which we're discovering, and it's going up. Lee says, I have to get up very early. You guys have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, Lee, what do you think about this presentation tonight? What do you think about Lee Marshall Masters? You know, he used to try to scare people about Nibiru. And, you know, like there may be a planet out there, but it's way out there. It's not coming anytime soon. I got a video where I talked great depth about that. I can talk, if y'all want me to, I'll talk about it more tonight. I can reiterate some of that stuff. But it's not to say that we won't have problems. I'm not saying we're not going to get hit by an asteroid. I'm not saying we might not get wiped out by an asteroid. But the probability of it happening like right now is existent, but it's very low, very low. Unfortunately, the overall aggregate probability if you get wiped out by an asteroid is greater than just about anything else. But it's because when one does hit, a big one, it can take out so many people. So it's kind of funny how the odds of dying by an asteroid probably exceed the odds of dying by lightning. Although lightning is a lot more frequent. It's just the way the math works. But it's, something the size of a dinosaur killer comes along about every 25 million years. And I think we just missed that cycle. That's the good news, guys. I think we just missed that one. Probably, see, it's a probabilistic thing. It don't mean it always happens that time. There's something that causes the flux density of the asteroids coming in the inner solar system to pick up, like when we got the strike that hit the Laurentide ice sheet. That happened the same time. There was a big meteor strike in Greenland. Apparently, there was believed to be a comet that hit in the desert of Chile, left a lot of glass out there. All happened at the same time. This is when the Laurentide ice sheet started melting. This is when the younger dryas hit. This is when all the big land mammals in North and South America went extinct, and when the Clovis culture vanished. Clovis culture. So yeah, there was a huge catastrophe in North America. Oh yeah, Atlantis sunk about that time. Well, that's how the legend goes. Literally, dated back to that time, about 12,500 years ago. We had a huge catastrophic event on Earth, but it's not considered to be one of the 5 major extinctions, although a lot of stuff went extinct. So the bigger asteroids cause big extinctions. So doom and gloom, I prefer to be happy, prep and happy. Well, prep. So deep waters, what I'm saying is, the whole point of this is there was some people out there putting out videos talking about, we're about to get hit. What's his name? Israeli News Live, Steve Manoon. He has been there for 2 years, and we're about to get pummeled by all these asteroids. Back last year, he was claiming, because Nibiru is about to swing around, he was saying that in the summertime, come September, no one on Earth will be able to deny. We're about to get hit by all this stuff, and Nibiru is swinging, and nobody on Earth will be able to deny it. Well, I went out in August and made a video and said it was bunk. And what about to happen? It was all wrong. I was right. It didn't happen. And here I was a month earlier saying I'm denying it. Said, no, this is junk. Don't worry about it. And I did another video on this channel recently, said don't worry about the asteroids, because he was coming out making the same kind of claims again just recently. So I'm trying to tamp down some fear. I'm not a fear monger. I am trying to be a realist. When I tell you there's things to worry about, you need to pay attention to them. I'm worried about the power grid. I'm worried about the situation internationally, and I'm worried about stress here domestically. We'll get into that in a little bit. So, I ain't got a single super chat today. Holy smoke. Anyway, let's see here. Yeah, you can be happy. Look, when I started this video today, it was things to be thankful for. And we got to return to that. I wouldn't have went into this had it not been for Martian Masters coming on and, accusing NASA of covering up the Chillimax event. They didn't know about it. It wasn't discovered. Look at this chart here. All the stuff, over almost 38% of the stuff that's just past us, we just found it, like when it was zinging by. Now, over time, that percentage will go less and less unless we get better and better observing for a while. But the good news is the more of these we map out, the more we'll be able to go find and do something about. So let me stop sharing for a minute. So how do you deal with an asteroid? We're sending out this thing called DART right now that will be an asteroid impactor. And the whole idea is that by putting a little impact on the asteroid, we put just enough energy in it that maybe it will cause the orbit to move a little bit. So over time, if you hit it far enough ahead of time, it would miss the Earth if it was going to hit the Earth. Sometimes a little energy over a long time can make a big difference. Somebody was asking, well, why don't we just send a rocket up, move the thing? our best rockets, if you just sat there and burn everything out while it's sitting on the asteroid, it would barely budge, at least in any time initially. Over time, it would add up, but to some fair orbit change. But asteroids have a lot of mass, some huge mass. Our rockets are puny compared to that. And the energy we put up is puny. They're orbiting at high speeds. Energy equals 1/2 mass times velocity squared. These things are going fast, way faster than a bullet, guys. Way faster. They're going very fast. And you look at that chart I just showed. They all have different speeds. You could, if you set up a machine that uses like solar energy and the mass of the asteroid itself, flinging it off like a mass driver. Then you could impart enough energy into the asteroid by getting rid of its own mass and chunking it away to change its orbit pretty significantly. You can actually bring a lot of that stuff back to Earth. You can scoop up stuff, bring it back to Earth or Earth orbit or some space manufacturing facility, which is probably the best thing you do with them. Or maybe put light cells attached to them somehow. So one of the biggest things that a lot of people like right now is the idea of having an impactor and a gravity tracker. A gravity tracker is another satellite or something that's kind of sort of orbiting with the asteroid, but it may have a little propulsion, and it just tries to pull the asteroid along a little bit, to pull it, to nudge it, just by its relative gravity, which would be minuscule, but over time, both these together might work enough to move an asteroid's orbit. If you paint one side of an asteroid, it could cause effects, between heat and energy from the sun, basically. It's got more to do with reflection of photons than anything. Actually putting a little momentum in an asteroid over time. That could actually cause the asteroid to move if it were on a path to hit us. You wouldn't want to do this if it wasn't, because you might put it on a path to hit us. So a lot of people say, well, great, we'll just nuke it. If an asteroid's coming at you and you nuke it, and that's what a lot of the defense people are just big on, yeah, let's nuke it because I got missiles and I got nukes. Well, most of our stuff can't get all the way out to an asteroid. It would take a heck of a rocket to get them all the way out to the asteroids that's coming in. But if you nuke it, what you've done is you've turned a bullet into a shotgun blast. And some people say, well, but Greg, a lot of it will burn up in the atmosphere. Well, that could be the worst thing. You've put enough material burning in the atmosphere, then the entire atmosphere could heat up if it's enough material. It could make the surface of the Earth like an oven. It could be like 400 degrees hot on the surface of the Earth, depending on how big this thing is, how much material there is. So you'd have to really think twice about nuking one of these things. Not to mention all that stuff coming back at you. It will be radioactive now. So you just created a radioactive shotgun blast, and it's still coming at you for the most part. So there may be cases where a nuke might be the right thing to do in a very short order. Something you just made the last minute discovery, it's about to hit us, like all these. Oh, that just went past. Oh, here one's it's about to pass us right now. We just discovered it. Okay, then that might work. It might be. If right now we couldn't even mount anything that fast. It requires stacking a big rocket, putting all this stuff on it, getting ready, and that's not a trivial exercise. Not at all trivial. It'd be like building a space launch system instantly, which we're still struggling to do. SpaceX might be able to get there when we get this stuff operating, but guys, this hasn't happened yet. This is Elon Musk's dream. Elon Musk is a pretty bright guy. Got a lot of bright people working for him, but the technical readiness level of this is pretty low for an operational system. It's a real risky system. A lot of new technology has been tried at once, and they have so many engines firing at once. Is a lot of striking people and reliability people got a little issue with that, because reliability is inversely proportional to parts count, and they got a mighty high parts count. And it didn't work out so well for the Russians with their N1 rockets, which always blew up. So let's hope that's not the case. Begley and MFATW are saying DART is fake. Oh, good grief. Not fake. Yeah, see, as I saw all these people, so many people out there throwing stuff out, blah, 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 blah. Well, a lot of people say that the Earth is flat and it's got a dome over it. Well, if it's got a dome over it, how do you explain the Chelyabinsk explosion? How do you explain the Tunguska explosion? Where's that stuff come from? How do you explain long-term comets? Even Halley's wasn't a long-term comet. I explained something that takes 76 years to come around. With a dome that's, roughly the size, diameter of this spread out motion of Earth as they got it. So, what do you got? 18,000 miles or 8,000 miles. You spread Earth out, or maybe 16 if you spread it out on a flat dinner plate. That's bonkers. That's ridiculous. You do not want to get that kind of stuff. Also, we've discovered that over time, from some historical observations, where a star like Aldebaran was occulted by the moon about 500 AD, is where it is today. It's actually moved about the width of a lunar distance in the sky. So these stars actually move around position. So if they're painted points on this vaulted sky, there's something wrong. Space is real, guys. Earth is round. Earth is a sphere, a fat sphere, but Earth is a sphere. And there's stuff out there. There's definitely stuff out there. I mean, guys, we look up and see objects orbiting each other in space all the time. Stars that have planets that have moons. So there you go, guys. It's not some big mobile hanging from a ceiling floating around us. Lunar eclipses would be a little hard to explain with that. And even harder to explain would be, how is it that I can be looking to the moon in the sky, or how about this? You can see the sun where you're at, but somebody else gets an eclipse. Yeah, I went over that one point. I'm not going to go all in there right now, but I did a video on galactic rays where I shot down based on a lunar eclipse, this whole flat Earth. There's many ways to shoot it down. Borealis force, the spin of the different spin in the northern and southern hemisphere of cyclones and whirlpools and all that's opposite. That's one's above and one's below. There's so many laws dropped that we're all felons. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, there's too many laws. That's the problem. Government's too big. Too many laws. All that stuff should be sunset. Okay, so I've done enough of the talk about space. It's late. I mean, to go so long, but this is a big topic. And the stuff was thrown out here today out in the discussion space, and I thought I'd come here and just clear the air. I probably should do just a whole video on this on galactic rays. He's blinded and robs his followers. Oh, I'm talking about Begley. I think Begley believes what he's saying, but look, I got friends that know Begley. They're friends with him. The guys that were at my the Blue Bottle Bunny Farm guy couple, Randy Bly and Susan. They're actually friends with Paul Begley. They know him. They've met him. They've been there. They gave me this. They were at my farmer's market, on one of the videos, blowing a shofar, which they said Begley couldn't blow, but I've blown that shofar. So I've actually blown I've blown a horn that Begley couldn't blow. So I think Begley believes egg-shaped. Yeah, Earth's kind of egg-shaped. Jojo says, thank you. Well, thank you for being here, Jojo. So the Bible. Well, there's various look. Revelations is full of these impacts. The things that I've said earlier today was that the thing that lends credibility to that is the effects they describe happen afterwards are just like the effects you would get after an asteroid strike. Now, how would a bunch of so-called goat herders 2,000 years ago understood that? They probably didn't understand that, but they wrote about it and described it. And that catches my eye. It catches my interest. Also, when we're talking about 200 million soldiers in a time and place on Earth when it was only 50 million people, and it was prophesied they would come from a certain direction, the east, which is the only place on Earth at this time that you could actually source either possibly even two armies that big. There you go. Just the CIA world fat, but used to carry that stuff. They cut a lot of it out. Watch me. I don't believe the flat Earth stuff. Either Isaiah said on the circle of the Earth. Guys, you got to bear in mind, language was limited back in the day when people were writing all this stuff. And they also, now I talk about rose-colored glasses. Everybody has a worldview, and they're going to interpret everything they see and hear through the worldview. Their worldview is their tint on their glasses. That's the worldview. And when you have a worldview, that's how you're going to interpret everything, and you're going to write it. So human beings are meat servos. We write through our meat, and our minds are made of meat in a sense. So if God's speaking to you and you're trying to understand, you're trying to write it down, but you can only write it as well as you understand it. That's my humble opinion. So I'm not being too hard on folks of the other day. It's interesting that they knew certain things and wrote them in the Bible, things that they should not ought to have known and understood, which catches my interest. And there is discussion of asteroid strikes, meteor strikes, stuff falling out of the sky that's made of ice and yet it burns. How's that? Burning hell. Methane. So it could be frozen methane from a comet. Fall out of the sky, it's ice, but it burns. Could happen. No, I'm calling you JoJo. This dancing gypsy. I'm not sure how you pronounce your A, or even your J. Could be Hispanic pronunciation. You haven't really told me. So I just call you JoJo. I used to watch Paul. He's a smart guy. Yeah, hey, he's got smarts to him. He's got smarts to him. But he's got spun up by Steve Bannon and some other people. Steve Bannon comes out and goes, "Well, I got intelligence sources. I got people that are high in the Pentagon, and I got people in the intelligence community." So what? They don't know what they're talking about. They're telling me that stuff. Because I got astronomers and scientists and friends all over that keep an eye on these things. And guys, he says, I got these mysterious people. Look at my channel. I brought you as a guest on my channel the man who ran the Star Wars program for Ronald Reagan. Pentagon level office, very high level Pentagon level office. Ambassador Hank Cooper. He's also an ambassador. The man who ran the program, that calendar back there from SDI calendar from 1988 is on. I put him on this channel. Stephen Bannon has yet to produce any such person in his channel. I brought generals on my channel. I bring scientists, engineers right here on this channel. So I got, for the channel the size of mine, 52,500 subscribers. There's channels that have 500,000 subscribers that can't bring the guests like I bring every day. Routinely, I bring in very high level guests. They're way beyond what they produce. So you know what? And these people, now he may know people, but they could be feeding him. They're probably just feeding him stuff. Stephen Bannon, in some ways he strikes you as a good guy, but he's, he seems to have faith. But he gets carried away about certain things. So does Begley. And it's very much in the fear side of the index. This asteroid's about to hit us any second. Well, they may, but not the way they put it out there. That's what I'm telling you. That is my message. That's the bottom line. To Greg, you tell him. Oh, wait, what did I just jump? What happened to it? You tell him, brother. There you go. Evening, Greg. Grateful to catch you live. Hey, Cheryl, how you doing? Rebel Rose, what you show is no faith and depression. Who's depressed? What you show is no faith and you saying I'm depressed? I have no faith. Rebel, what are you saying? Oh, you're talking to Watchman. Watchman, if you believe the Bible is true, then why are you so worried? I see where you're coming from now. If you live, have faith. If you don't, die, if you have faith, and you die, you know where you're going. So, you shouldn't be so concerned. But, we got to live our life the best we can while we're here. I think Watchman's got a faith. He talks like he does. Okay, thank you, Greg. This is JoJo. All right. Hey, I thought we had, there's New Days Always. You're kind of quiet there, aren't you? What happens if we hit an asteroid at the wrong angle and it splits apart? Well, these things some of them are just flying robopiles. They'll split apart coming in. And that may be why the impactor that hit the Laurentide ice sheet, it may have split before it hit Earth. Just think the comet Levy-Shoemaker 9 hit Jupiter on the 25th anniversary of the Apollo 11 launch. Actually, it started hitting Jupiter on the day of the launch, and the biggest impactor hit on the 25th anniversary of man landing on the moon, and the last impactor hit about the day we splashed down. That impact series broke into 21 fragments. Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. It was one of the discoverers was Shoemaker, who was an astronomer and geologist. He took astronauts into all these impact zones and showed them impacts. And one of his discoveries made the biggest impacts we ever saw. This thing was hitting, these 21 fragments started hitting Jupiter, and some of the explosions were as big as the planet Earth. And they left black spots on the face of Jupiter. Hey, flat earthers, explain that, would you? Explain it. Where did that comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 come from? We got a big dome over Earth. That's so ludicrous. But what is 21? 21 major fragments, 21, 3 times 7. Those are like biblical numbers, guys. And the fact that this thing hit on the anniversary of our moon landing, that's like a shot across our bow. It's like, to me, that's like God was trying to tell us something. That was huge. A very, very coincidental, interesting incident. It perfectly bracketed the Apollo 11 mission's 25th anniversary. Wasn't that weird? That was weird. Weird. 1994. July 1994. Comet Levy-Shoemaker 9. So what happens to Shoemaker? Discoverer of this, and also the guy who took the astronauts around, showed them impact craters, taught them the science of impacts. He himself became an impactor. Some of his ashes were put on a probe and sent to the moon and hit the moon. So his final moment was to become an impactor. Is that poetic or what? So that's the story of Eugene Shoemaker was his name. His wife is also an astronomer. I think she's still alive. Eugene Shoemaker, quite a guy. The astronauts loved him. He was a geologist and an astronomer. Quite a guy. Specialized in impacts and became an impactor. Is that poetic or what? Isn't that just awesome? I think that's just awesome. So, see, that's where the heathen, that's what the heathen does when they go in and attack the bad words when they find themselves exposed. What are we talking about, the Watchman? What are we talking about? That's pretty ridiculous that you put something in that chat. Oh, you arguing with somebody. Who you arguing with? If you read the Bible, you will find that Jesus is the one that divides the families. Really? Okay, we got a religious debate going on here within the chat room. Oh well. Okay. So here's the thing. The bottom line is the prospects for impacts are real. Eventually they will get us. Absolutely. One of these days they'll be, if we don't do something, the asteroid will wipe out everything on Earth. Might take 65 million years, 33 million. Well, most everything. Well, definitely in civilization. you could get one big enough that would end the amoebas. But so far, that hasn't happened in the history of our world. I think our world has been very protected, even though it's been hit with some major catastrophes. Still, it's been quite protected. The fact that we've been able to be here and live is something to be thankful for. The fact that we can look out and see the beauty of the universe, the beauty in the eyes of an elderly person or a baby. Just the elderly person has kind of a twinkle in their eyes. Just how precious life is to them is really occurring to them. And they're marveling at the world as they're going out. I've seen it in my dad's eyes, and he'd like to look at me, and they got to marvel in their soul. That they just look at things and marvel. They know that it's almost over, but they get an awe. A baby, the whole world's fresh, new to them. And the baby's eyes are so pretty, so much potential in a baby. I think a baby is one of the most beautiful things in the entire universe. The baby animals are beautiful, aren't they? But they're innocent. Everything's new to them. It's all discovery. There's so much cuteness in a baby. So much potential. Talking about politics and religion is always going to cause hard feelings. That's true. We got people that have different views of religion and politics in this channel, and some of us diverge it. So be respectful, at least, of people that think things different than you. I ask everybody to do that, and just remember that we all have different worldviews. And I did a little video about rose-colored glasses, and I challenged everybody to put on the rose-colored glasses of the other person and try to reach across the aisle to them. Try to understand where they're coming from, and then talk with them. Then you'll get somewhere. They might learn something you couldn't otherwise teach them because you couldn't get in their shoes to understand how to reach out to them. But then you might be the one that learns something too. It works both ways. So everybody should wear the rose-colored glasses of other people as often as they could. This is how we reach understanding. We quit fighting. It's how we spread love, which I'm a big fan of. And that's how we're going to end this video tonight. It's talking about love, which I often do at the end of my videos. If you watch my videos before, you know what I'm going to say when we end tonight. So, is the watchman leaving us here? Rebel Rose, I was on my way out. No offense on your side, but the drop has gotten a little bit out of hand, you know. All right, everybody, y'all need to be respectful. I've been missing a lot of chat tonight because I've been a lot busier talking than I normally am. So we got a lot of smart people in our room here. But just like a family dinner table, you got differences of opinion. Everybody's not on the same wavelength, but we're still family. So let's try to get along, guys. And there's a bigger world out there than us. So we got to learn how to get along here before we can learn to get along in the bigger world. Because we got enough commonality here that we're all here in the chat room. We got 123 people in the room tonight. There's been more than that cycle through here because we got 161 thumbs up, which I appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. So there's plenty to celebrate and be thankful for. We'll have to come back to that here in a minute. But let's look at the weather real fast while we're here. And then we're going to talk about some things in general. I'll try to go back through more of the chat here in a second. And we're not going to be on here all night. It's nearly midnight my time. I got many things to do. I did not mean to go this long tonight. I need to do a share if I'm going to go into all these different places. So let me figure out what I'm going to start out at. I know some of you are just joining the room. So I am going to share this video from my new channel, Product Pappas. And this is about a runoff between 3 different impact drills. It's a review, a product review. There'll be a lot more to come on that. So please check out my new channel, Product Pappas. Subscribe, bang the update notification bell, and click all. I greatly appreciate that. And I'll plan to bring a lot more content of that type on that channel because it's just stuff I'll be dealing with. So I might as well just make videos on it. And how are we doing? We got 60 views in that video. Very good. I got 29 subscribers now. Not bad for my first day, my debut day. I may add that video to this channel maybe tomorrow, possibly. I'm thinking about it. I haven't decided to or not. But if I do, it will be to try to get people to go to the product Pappas more than anything. All right, so let's do a share again. We'll go back to the videos. And again, there's the video on the impact drill runoff. So let's go to windy. We're going to do the normal stuff we normally do. So we're not going to go back to space weather because we've already been there. Well, look, we've had a little bit of a turnaround. More of the stuff's heading more offshore now, coming out over Maine, where New Day's old ways is. Always a big wind coming down there. Instead of curling back around this way, it's now blowing out north of Bermuda. But there is a little circulation here, but instead of going into Jacksonville, it's coming out of Jacksonville. Now, they got hammered for quite a while by stuff. And I'm trying to sell me another version of Windy Premium. Maybe I should subscribe to it as much as I go in here now. Look, we got some stuff coming in the West Coast there. Oh, look up here. Yeah, they're getting hammered pretty good up here. And British Columbia and along the coastal range here in the Panhandle of Alaska, up past Juneau, coming out of Homer. Heading this way. Yeah, that's some high winds there. Let's check the rain and thunder. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, snow up in Michigan and Indiana, North Dakota, little South Dakota, Montana, Washington State, rain and snow. Spokane. Few days, you're probably going to get hit by a good snowstorm, I'd say. The looks of this thing. What's your chance of snow, New Days? I'm in FB jail for another 10 days. I will share the link when I get reprieve. Okay, New Days. So yeah, we're getting rain. We've been getting rain right here today. Rain most of the day today. So let's look at rain accumulation. The rain was light. It's rained here today. Been raining most of the day, but it's been light rain. Temperature's going down now. So I like to look at next 5 days. Oh, a lot of rain out in Atlantic. That's 10 days. So we're going to get some more rain here. Let's see where's snow accumulation at. Somewhere here. There we go. New snow. Yeah, I'd say, Katie, you got something coming at you. Talk about snow. This is like 9 foot of snow. Look at this, guys. Whoo, they're getting it piling up here. That's actually a rainforest. They have a pile of snow up in here. Oh, wow. You gotta have some good roofs on your house or get to keep that stuff off. Lordy. Lordy, 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 lordy. Temperature, bing. I love to look at temperature. 42 in Memphis. So it's probably around 40. Let's see. Let's zoom in. Check out what our temperature is. I got to move my thing here so I can zoom. Ding, ding. My microgreens trailer still has the AC running. I guarantee you it's warmer inside with the AC running than it is here at 46 degrees in Ardmore. I'll go to flea markets up here. I guess it's freezing up in this territory. Yeah, I'll get some coffee here now. Well, I still got a little bit here. I'm drinking. Look at that, guys. Ooh. -8 in Fairbanks. Dawson City's -13. Starting to get chilly up in there. Delta Junction, -9, colder than Fairbanks. Delta Junction. What's that word? That's your conjunction. There's Elizabeth Pass. That'd be Mount Hayes, Mount Deborah in this area. This is Fort Greely, where I used to be stationed when that picture was made of me and Gerard K. O'Neill. That's where I live. Bing, 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 bing. All right, guys. So let's go to Earth. Let's go to Earth. Let's check Earth out. I always like going around Antarctica. Look at all the storms down there. It's always heavy winds right here between Antarctica and the tip of South America. And you know the seas there are rough. It's one of the worst seas in the world. Quite a gyre here in the North Atlantic. It's just kind of a fun chart to look at. Flat earthers will tell you this is Antarctica spread all the way around the world. It's the ice wall that keeps the oceans in. Ice will not retain water for a very long period of time, my friends. It will burrow through. Another hole in the that whole thing. Here's the earthquake map. Of course, these are your little danger zones. South Carolina, a little bit up in the Appalachia, New Madrid Fault. I could take that off. Hazards, ching. So look at all the little faults in the Rockies. A lot of faults up there. Take the faults off. Oh, that one's just happened. Just turn on this. So we had a 3.0, 17 kilometers west southwest of Thomas Place, California. Okay, interesting. Oh, just turned blue. Now there's a color code index on here for all this stuff. It's pretty quiet really right now, roughly speaking. Excuse me. Here's another view of a hazard map. Alaska, I was in the orange territory. Well, look here, my snowflake property is probably right about there. It's got lower hazards than where I live now in that regard. Although they say volcanoes can pop up anywhere in the west at any time. Well, isn't that not an interesting map? So that's up in the Smoky Mountains there. I felt earthquakes hitting in this area. I was shaking my house once upon a time, about a 4.0 over here. And that little bitty spot there is the source of the most powerful earthquake on North America. And could be again in the not too distant future. All right, back to this. Well, we've already been through that, so we're not going to look at that again. The aurora is pretty strong, but it's way up north. Way up north. It's got a coronal hole. It's going to be streaming a lot of material at us, generating the aurora. But sunspots don't like anything to be too scared of at the moment. You have a still a CME on the other side of the sun. It's not a very strong one, but that is a CME. Alrighty, guys. Let's stop the share. Hey, hello. Well, we talked about space weather, including asteroid rain, raining asteroids. We talked about all kind of weather, space weather. Gorgeous Awesome's in the house. Oh, very good. Good to see you. Can't see all the perception. Some of us never get snow, and we get evicted. Let me go back to the chat room here on this computer where I can see if that's easier to read. I like to be looking around so much. Let's see what I missed here. Goons, your children, mine are all grown. Yes, that's her dog. She calls them goons. They're huge, very huge. Glad I'm in Florida. No more shoveling snow. That is a lot of work. Holy smoke. Some people have heart attacks chilling this stuff. It's so much work. It drops. I think I'll just ignore the deniers and relax tonight. Yeah, why not? When the invasion begins, the Chinese will show no mercy. Whew. Yeah, that's something to think about. They don't have mercy. They don't show mercy for their own people. Just look at the Uyghurs, the fallen gone. Christians there. Rebel Rose, Greg, it was just a friendly debate. Okay. Okay, good. Y'all are free to debate. Hey, we're family in here. Just in the end, be nice to each other. Religion is touchy some. Watch a Baptist and a Methodist. You are correct. God is with one's own self. Well, that's where your rebel says, if I've upset you, I apologize. Are you talking to the watchman, I suppose? Okay, yeah, that's the case there. You had quite a debate there for a little bit. Wow. Yeah, LeakCon. LeakCon was a lot of fun. Your snowflake area is near to major earthquakes due to subduction zone. Yeah, but it's not in the hazard list like that. It's showing less hazard than where I'm at now. Actually, the subduction zone's up in the northwest. Cascadia subduction zone is up northwest. And it's what you got in California is where the plates are sliding past each other this way, not one being subducted and the other, which is the case. The Cascadia subduction zone, is off the coast of Seattle, Vancouver, up in that area. And those make the worst earthquakes, by the way, except for whatever's going on in the middle of America with New Madrid. Oh, anyway, let's see here. Come this chat through chat rooms aren't synced. Alrighty, guys, been a long day here. I was tired all day today. I was wanting to do taxes and I just didn't have the mental energy because I was up to 5 o'clock. No, I went to bed at 6 this morning. The reason I went to bed at 6 this morning was I was trying to figure out how in the world to make it. What I would do losing my job for lack of a jab. And it's going to be tough. So I was trying to figure my way through it, and I just couldn't stop until I had certain things to put to rest in my mind. It's crazy. I was having a hard time staying awake last night, and then this just started cooking on my mind, and I just couldn't stop. So I stayed up to 6 and went to bed and got up shortly thereafter. So I'm pretty darn tired now. I got to go to bed so I can enjoy my family tomorrow. Cascadia's in my backyard. Yeah, it is chewy weather. Definitely that. I spent it with my children and looked at our rocks. It was sweet and gorgeous, awesome. So, this is my daughter and her 2 kids. Our husband's not in here. That's 2 of my grandkids there. My son has a daughter, which is in here. So all my grandkids are in this picture. And one of my daughters. One of my daughters and all my grandkids are in this picture here. And that was from a year ago. So I've got a son and 2 daughters. And they're all going to be here tomorrow. And we're going to go out and eat somewhere. But I'm going to go first to the Space and Rocket Center and spend some time with my daughter from Texas. Now, they live in Houston. They got a space center in Houston, but they're coming to visit the one here. So, New Day says it's gorgeous, but mostly he likes those sweets because they're edibles, and he smiles all day long. What are you talking about? Sweets, because they're edibles. I love those cups, Greg. Well, thank you. Yeah, I do too. So what y'all are saying here? I spent okay. Yeah, New Madrid will rock it sometime, but the frequency of it really, if you just look at the normal frequency, it shouldn't hit again for probably another 100, 200 years, but it still could happen. Still could happen. Some people think, told you to call me, wake up. All right, Josh, I think I sent you I texted you. I texted, gorgeous, awesome. Sorry you were dealing with that stress, Greg. Operate from your heart, and the most benevolent outcome will serve. Thank you. Well, I do appreciate you. I get a lot of nice gifts from you guys. Oh, Brian hadn't been here in a couple of days. I'm surprised. It's the second chat he's missed. He sent me some honey. So I was hoping I could share that with him. He can see it. I'm sharing. This is some very pretty honey too, guys. From Minnesota. He also sent me these little nuts here that look like a coronavirus. Oops, I said the word. That means this video is going to have a hard time getting monetized now. It's about the topic. He said these nuts look like it. I make best mashed potatoes. All right, JoJo. That's good. That's good. I mean, tell me these nuts don't look like the cerveza bug. But these look like a Mexican beer bug. Spike proteins and all. All right, we'll have to try some of your mashed potatoes one day. But speaking of gifts, gorgeous, awesome. They've got an Etsy store, and I'd be happy for them to show their Etsy store in here because they do such beautiful work, guys. I know y'all, most of you see me show this a million times, but there may be somebody new here. This is the Mirian laser wand. Because it's got a handle. So it literally, technically, it's a wand with beautiful copper work. Uday says, I pay $20 for a gallon of honey. That's liquid gold. It is, and it looks like gold too. It'll last forever. Burnt peanuts, the best. Yep, Tom. What do I call them? Burnt peanuts. Isn't that beautiful? This is all handmade. Very intricate work. You tell me how you like them. Mashed potatoes? Mashed with butter. This one is the healing one, the quartz crystal. Now, it's got smaller copper wire in it, but if you look at this, all this. I'm going to have to go back to my screen so I can see if it's focusing. Oh, very good. It's a whole lot of little wrappings in here. Small, fine work of wrapping. Oh, now you can see it. That's a lot of twisting and wrapping of the copper. Now we go. Now it's just right. Guys, very intricate work. Very intricate work. A lot of work goes on. They hand make all this stuff, guys. This is all handmade. All handmade. You know, crystals aren't cheap either. Copper is very expensive, and the time they put in these is incredible. So when you see their prices, think about what they put in. It's a low price. It's cheap. Great deals. They got great bargains because they do work that is gorgeous and awesome. You know, this is a work of love, what they do with these things. Look at this, guys. That's a work of love. Looks like kind of like ram horns. They got it wrapped around. It's a labor of love to produce stuff like that. And they make these like crystal chandeliers. And they got their chakra pennants, whatever you call them. I don't know. They'll have to tell them what the word for that is. And they make other stuff. Woden's wooden wand of wonders, which I like playing with because it's just so smooth. Feels smooth in the hands. Girls were having a lot of fun last night. You like with skin on. Oh, you mean chicken? Fried chicken, yeah, but you know, if I bake it, I'll take the skin off. Unless it's like rotisserie, then you keep the skin off. Oh, you mean potatoes? Yeah, well, that's more nutritious. It's very creamy like pudding. Beautiful artistry. You're right. This is, now look at all the detail copper work that goes in this. This was a limb off of an apple tree. No, it's not a bone. I think it's a small. And this is shungite. This is shungite. Isn't it beautiful? Woden's wooden wonders. They also sent me some pretty stones. So they sent me very pretty stones, a lot of real pretty stones. I got quite a few of those from them. Well, it's a lot of fun. Beautiful. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's just because it's so smooth. They took the bark off, the outer bark and the inner bark. They basically whittled this down and hand finished it, sanded it, smoothed it up. So it's very smooth. It feels good in the hands. It's kind of gives you, you know, it's like, you know, the widgets that people play with. This is kind of my widget. It's magical though. That's cool because this is my magic wand, guys. New Days Always tells me to be careful where I point this thing. Where are those girls who wanted to? Oh yeah. I don't know. Last night there was a couple girls having a lot of fun in the room. Yeah. They're here tonight. At AG, asteroids are called the chunks that have a certain size and therefore a bit dangerous. I thought I did a big talk about that earlier in this video. So happy Thanksgiving. So let's end on a positive note. You know, we are fortunate. We're lucky to be alive. We're lucky to be able to have a life. We're lucky to have minds. We're lucky to be able to see things, understand things, to have hearts. We're lucky to be able to be happy. We're lucky to be able to cry. We're lucky to feel good. Even pain is lucky because it's an aversion to things. It's a lesson to avoid something, usually, unless you're chronic pain toward the end of your life. And then it's just telling you how much you messed up. Or maybe bad genes. I don't know. Bad environment. Sometimes, you know, the environment gets us. It's not our fault. But, you know, we go through this life to experience things. And even at the worst of times, there's things you can appreciate. There's things to be thankful for. Like I said earlier, I think the most beautiful things in the universe are children. And those of you that were at LeakCon, one of my presentations, I started out asking the question, what's the most beautiful thing in the universe? Everybody's like, well, yeah. And then I showed a picture of my little girl when she was a baby. I said, children, babies. Nobody argued with me. Well, that little baby girl's an engineer now. She's graduated. She's an engineer. Wow, time flies. Let's have a prayer before it becomes illegal. Okay. New Days, that's right. You mesmerized them with that apple wand. must have mesmerized them. So much so they're probably still laying back in the days and have to join our video tonight. Yes. Says, Greg, have a great day with your children and grandchildren. I plan on it. So we'll have to get in bed tonight. I like to get in bed early enough. Maybe I can get even earlier tomorrow morning, get some of the work done. I'm having trouble with it today. We're our own worst enemy. That's true. And the biggest monsters in the world, all the stuff out there natural that can come at us, and all the big lions and tigers and snakes, people. People are our best blessings, but also our worst monsters. It really means we got a lot of work to do internally, guys, with our souls and spirits and the way we live. One thing I want to admonish y'all to and draw to you, probably need this special video on this because it'll get lost at the end of this. You have 100 people in the room, so we got 100 people to hear this. But, you know, of course, if I do a video, maybe 1,000 people see it, or 2,000. Think about what's going on right now. Look at Nordstrom's in California, where people just block the streets off, and 50 to 80 people jumps in the store and starts grabbing, smashing, hurting people, stealing things. The locals don't want to call it loot because that has bad negative connotations. Let's see, smashing and grabbing that's okay. There's no negative connotation with that. Huh? Small stores, you know, and some of these people that riot says, well, it's just some stuff. It's just material. You realize People work all their lives to establish a business to try to provide for their families, and just walk in and destroy it because you got some little political angst that has nothing to do with probably the people whose property you're destroying. That's crime. That's criminal. It's not just property, it's somebody's livelihood. It's their dreams, their hopes. You're destroying their dreams. You have no right to do that. You have no right whatsoever to do that. I don't care how mad you are about this or that or the other thing. You have no right to step into somebody else's life and destroy it. And that's exactly what you're doing. No, it's not just material. You're destroying their life, their livelihood. You have no right to do that. None. Zero. Goose eggs. Some people may not take too kindly to that, and I don't blame them. So you have no right to do that. But suddenly this is just spreading, going on all over the place. It's always, though, it tends to be in locations where people don't have the right to carry certain things. You ever notice that? Vicky was in here earlier saying, she felt fairly safe against some of these protesters because of the area she was in. But she did allude to another group, which is somewhat less than savory. I don't like them either. The Triple K Club, I'm no part of that. I don't like racism on either side. Now, CRT teaches, supposedly, that if you are a little darker tint, you can't be racist, and only white people can be racist. That's racist. Racism is not pretty no matter where it comes from. If you're a people that's had to fight racism and you're trying to do it with racism, you're just cutting your nose off in spite of your face. We got to come from love, not hate. We can't solve things with hate. You're just going to make the feud get worse. And that's what's happening in the world today. People have forgotten how to love, how to appreciate each other. That's the problem. We forgot that. Or we put all our blame off on these other people. See, that's what Hitler did. That's what the people are. These people are claiming to be anti-fascists today are falling in Hitler's trap. A lot of power politics uses this little trick. It's like projection. It's a psychological mechanism of fixing your faults, your troubles on somebody else. Oh, it's the Jews. They destroyed our society, according to Hitler. Now, I'm not saying it. Don't read me saying it. No, that's what Hitler taught. It's these guys' fault. It's these guys' fault. Everything that you're worrying with in your life today is these guys' fault. So they demonize these people. You take a subclass, you demonize them. And then somehow you get in people's minds they're somewhat less than human. So that makes it okay to do things to them because they're really not human. That's what dehumanization does. Before all the major wars, one side or the other tends to dehumanize the other side. There were cartoons in America about Japanese back in World War II that were dehumanized them. The same thing on their side. So that's one of the things I was talking about with language with China. China's doing that with respect to America, to their people right now. That's scary. Very, very, very scary that they're doing it. They are painting us as being less than human. But we got that right here inside this country right now. And so it's okay to hate. It's okay to destroy people's lives, people's properties. Two wrongs does not make a right, and it never did. That's not math. Two wrongs does not make a right. An RIGHT is okay, or a right that you possess to do it. No, wrong on all accounts. Crime is crime. What we need is love in this world, not hate. But internationally, domestically, the index and level of hatred is going up astronomically. It's not a good thing. It's awful. Now I'm seeing people on the left starting to call for a civil war. There is somebody, and I should share the article one day, there are some people on the left telling Biden that he needs to start a civil war with the Republicans and eradicate them because they think differently. Well, I've mentioned this before. I've talked about civil war on this channel. I'll tell you that civil war is the ugliest kind of war you can have. War is ugly, extremely ugly. well, outside of nuclear war, a civil war is the worst. You look at the history of America. It took us until sometime after the Vietnam War, to reach a point where we lost more people in the summation of our wars than when we lost in the war between the states. We lost more people in the war between the states than all the other wars up until recent history. And that was with bang bangs. You had to poke one down the barrel at a time. Well, there was some more automated stuff came out toward the end, especially on the northern side. But it's ugly. It's a very ugly thing. And back in the day, as much tension as there was between the North and South, a lot of the troops wouldn't even shoot at each other. In fact, a lot of them would go through the motions, make it look like they were shooting. They found all these rifles were packed full of lead rounds, almost to the muzzle. And you couldn't possibly shoot. You'd have to get worms, jerk all that stuff out. It took forever to get those rifles where they'd be operational. The guy didn't want to shoot that rifle. He didn't want to hurt nobody. There's a lot of these people on both sides like that. People had a sensibility, respect for other people in the day. Like that Christmas party in World War I, where the troops, Germans and Americans, were on opposite sides shooting at each other, and somebody put a Christmas tree up. Go look at the Christmas miracle. And the guys on the other side, they started hollering back and forth. They got it to quit fighting. They had a Christmas party. The generals and all the officers hated it. Finally got them pulled apart and got the war restarted. The peace almost broke out a mantle, person to person. I tell you all the time that inside we're all pretty much the same. And it's the politicians that divide us because it gives them power. So it gives somebody power to blame somebody else. It's their fault. They did it to you. And if you will help me, I will help you. If you give me money to run this organization, we will take care of those guys. Put me in charge. Jesse Jackson plays the exact same game with his Rainbow Coalition. That's how he extorts big companies for a lot of money. Like the company formerly known as Coca-Cola, which I call Coca-Cola because now they've fallen into that too. But he used to extort a lot of companies. He's made a lot of money telling people it's their fault. He calls it a Rainbow Coalition, like it's all encompassing, but yet he singles things out and attacks them. That's the way he builds power. I met Jesse. I walked through a door right next to him. He's walking in. I mean, going out the door no bigger than just a regular sized door. So he had a convention in a hotel that I was at attending the meeting too. So Civil War is what commies want. Yeah. Now China is going to rule the world. We got a long way to go. Well, they might not. They may not. And I've talked about how they may fall short. I believe we can keep them from it, but not if going the way we're going now. We got to wake up, stop it, and you can have an impact on that. I've talked about that, but they could, especially if we just bend over and let them take the world. But we got to be very careful how we weed our ways through the next couple of decades, domestically and internationally. We have huge prospects for war. Secession doesn't mean you have to have a war. Like the Soviet Union broke apart. A lot of countries are broken apart without having a war. But some people want a war. War is ugly. And it's really strange that people in the left want a war. Then they got more money. They've got more power. But they live in urban areas, predominantly urban areas. They're totally dependent on the rest of the country in centralized distributed systems. How do they win that war? No, they starve. They couldn't possibly win. And you need to think about what you're asking for before you ask for it. You might find yourself in a lot of trouble. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. Right now, not only that, but crime. There was some old guy, if you watch Full Spectrum Survival, check out Brad's channel, Full Spectrum Survival. Go there, subscribe to him, and tell him Greg Allison from Green Greg sent you. Do that. Go to Brad's channel, Full Spectrum Survival, and everybody run in there and subscribe to him, and tell him that Greg Allison from Green Greg sent me. Say, Green Greg sent me. Greg Allison, Green Greg sent me. Do that. Put it in the messages. But Brad, He's a good guy. He's a really good guy. He's got a good heart. He and his wife both. He's pretty intense, but he's serious. And but he's really a generally good guy. He lives in Alabama, at the foothills of the Appalachians, eastern Alabama. I know the town. I won't say it because I don't believe he said it on air, but I know where the town is. He lives in it. Actually, I did a video driving by there once. But I wasn't trying to reach out to him. I was just in the area. Now he what was I going to say? He brought up the story of a guy at a gas station. Got gas. Some old man just got gas, was trying to drive on, and suddenly gangs of people just started coming at him. I mean, we're talking people in cars and ATVs and motorcycles. They started surrounding his car, and he tried to get away. He tried to get on an off ramp, and they blocked him off, and they smashed his windshield and pulled him out, and nearly beat him to death. Was he just randomly selected? What happened? Is it just like Nordstrom's? What's going on, guys? It could be somebody you love tomorrow. It could be you. Suddenly one day they're just surrounded. Are they just randomly selecting people? What's going on? And these predominantly occur in states where people don't have certain freedoms. It's interesting, the group that tells us that we shouldn't have the right to protect ourselves also want to shut down the police force and say it's okay for people to burn cities down. Well, that don't add up. Now, in my book, I don't even come close to adding up. How can you accept all those things together? Why should I accept them? No, I ain't buying it. You believe that stuff? You got some loose screws up there. Your head ain't put together right. Because that stuff is as the Northerners would say, a non sequitur. Certainly educated people. It don't make any sense. It don't add up. We got another way of saying that in this neck of the words. It starts with the letters Bravo and Sierra. You know what I mean? That don't make any kind of sense. Oh, I can't protect myself, but then you don't even allow the police. You don't want to shut the police down too. Oh, and you want everybody to run around burning everything down and beating on people. I don't just burn things down; they beat on people too. Interesting. You see the times we're going into? Crime is going up. More and more people are getting unhinged. Why? Because their hearts aren't in the right place. Because they're not coming from love. That's what I'm coming back to. That's the problem. It's the lack of love. It's a lack of respect for the fellow man, because they're being indoctrinated by the school systems to hate. That's what those theories are teaching school ultimately leads to, is hatred. These people are bad. It's going back to the Hitler thing. Hitler's modus operandi is what's influencing the people that claim they're anti-fascist, and they support people that want to take your rights away from you. Sounds kind of fascist to me. And their modus operandi are almost identical to the brown shirts. The anti-fascist are the fascist. That's what it looks like. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm sure I'll make some people extremely mad with this. But just look at it. Look what they do. It's the same thing, the brown shirts. And this whole idea of blame these people. It's these people. Everything is these people. It can be any of these people. It can be any of these people. It's just a modus operandi of somebody who wants power. They find a group of people they can objectify and say it's on them. It could be any group. It could be anybody. Whatever the fancy is of the people in control, whatever they're trying to accomplish, in this case, divide and conquer. Take those that are in power, knock them down, clear them out, and set up a whole new system. They can have a reset. Well, yeah, they like that idea. But they want to make it a reset where they're the overlords. What they're setting up, what the big elite have in mind, see, they're playing these people. The ones that are most played are the ones that's their foot soldiers. Because what their real intention is that to have themselves up here and kick all the ladders out when nobody else can get up there anymore. See, that's what they're doing. They're eliminating all the small independent businesses and organizations. The uber elite will be at the top. Now, they're not going to climb down from the top. Their version of socialism and communism isn't really socialism and communism. It's that other thing that starts with F, because they're still going to be at the top. It'll be a very stratified society. They're going to be way up there, and you can't touch them anymore. They're going to be untouchable. Everybody else is going to be down here. Whoa. And then they put the jack into the head, and you will be a worker ant. You won't even have a soul if it can get away with it. Talk about the hive. That's the hive. We'll go back to talk some more about that in the future. These people are being played. They have no idea what they're being played into. They're being used big time. In history, whenever a group used people like that to put themselves in power, once they got power, that group was the first organizations they turned on. Groups of people that, the little people that get them where they got to, they turn on them. Time and time again. Sad people don't study history. If they're letting themselves get played, they don't listen to the dialogue from some few people, or the mantra that keeps getting screwed at them by the mainstream news media. How do you find the truth? You get out and you look around, you look farther afield, you dig. It's a jigsaw puzzle, or sweeten the chaff. It takes a while to be able to start sorting it out. What is what pieces really fit together. It takes some time. Get your BB trained and learn skills. Yeah, we need to learn skills, everybody. So, and why am I telling you this, guys? Two things. One, prep, and prep. Now is the time to prep. Big time. Prep. We are facing enormous international tensions right now. It's like the 1930s or worse. We're facing a multi-front world war, possibly, very possibly. And we don't have a dog in the hunt for Ukraine, really, but France and Germany, France and England both talk about taking the sides of Ukraine. And we're NATO bound to protect them if they get hit. You see how this stuff could spiral in? Easily. And that's just one of several hot spots in Europe, actually, right now. And then Iran. Yeah, that's cooking. China, multiple hotspots around China. North Korea. It's like today we're playing Russian roulette with several revolvers simultaneously. Then you look what's happening domestically, civil war. So we're like on the precipice of Great Depression, civil war, environmental catastrophe, and world war all at once. Wow. Biblical times. Yeah. Big time. You know, maybe an asteroid heading our way. It's not quite the way they've been spinning it, okay? We are in dangerous times. Now, don't mean we can't get through it. It doesn't mean that. We've been in dangerous times before and gotten through it. You know, that's how the greatest generation became the greatest generation. They got in there and they did what they had to do. They took care of business. The generation before them kind of fell apart. Well, they stood up and they pushed through and built a much better society than we ever had before. They were battle hardened by their experience, and they loved the country. They did what they had to do, and they fixed it as good as they could. And our country became extremely prosperous thereafter, extremely prosperous for several decades. That may be coming again. This new greatest generation, maybe the kids today that maybe just turning 20. And maybe they're not there right now. Maybe they haven't been galvanized. They may not come to this realization yet. But when they go through the test by fire, they probably will come to it. Especially if we help guide them to come to understand a couple of things. Love for country, love for their fellow man, anywhere. The ability to put on those rose-colored glasses and understand other people. That's a very important thing. I've been teaching that for some time on here. I'm here teaching love, respect for everybody. When I talk about China, what I tell you guys, I said there's good people everywhere. In every village, hamlet, country, of every race, color, and creed. People give you the shirt off their back, have good hearts. Now, a lot of them are living in deception. We may be living in deception. Everybody has a different worldview. No two worldviews are exactly alike. So if the real truth is only one thing could be true, then the probability is we're all wrong. See, there's a humbling thought. We need some humility. But most of all, we got to learn how to get along with our friends and neighbors and even our enemies. But our biggest enemies are usually at the top level, percolate up. And then they impose down. A society like China, they control the news media. Just by, you know, the kids these days think communism is great. We don't need freedom of speech. What happens? All you get is controlled content. And you're brainwashed. You don't know what's going on. You get played harder. I could go on and on about that. Why that is a road to disaster, failure, bad place for you. There's reasons people flee those countries to come here. And we're on the verge of spoiling our punch bowl here. So I thought a lot of stuff out here tonight. Got pretty deep. But the key thing is how I end so many videos. I'm not going to end just yet, but I will leave you. This is one thing I always end with. I always say this. I always say, this light dispels darkness, love dispels hate. I always challenge you to go out and shine your love light into the world. And I do mean that. This is not a video about hate. This is a video. First off, we started talking about things to be thankful for. And then I talked about asteroids. The reason I brought up the asteroid talk is somebody else is out there saying, you know, talking about this stuff hitting us and talking about the big deception and all that stuff. Well, they talked about Chillimax and said that was deception. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I just showed you irrefutably that we're continuously discovering these things. And it's actually a good thing. Of course, anytime you can point a finger at somebody and say they lied or all that kind of stuff, then that just kind of increases your value in certain media circles and among certain followers. You get people to agree with you, they'll follow you. And maybe you sell books or something, you make some money on that. So that's not a prescription I like to be a part of. So let's try to have some understanding here, guys. Let's try to understand each other. And, you know, I'd be happy to sit down with Marshall Masters and talk with him. I think he's got a good heart. I just think his worldview is got a little bit of a spin on it there. So I'll be charitable there. I love you, Greg, hitting the sack. Okay, JoJo. Imagine all the money you could save if you died from an asteroid. Check your insurance policy. Oh my gosh. Put all my belongings in 2 gym bags. I'm not fighting anyone's war. Okay, that's a if you can put all your belongings in 2 gym bags, you might be ahead of everybody. You can get out and get away. You're not tied down by a bunch of junk. There's no tragedy too small for them to use. Now, see, that's true. It's like, you know, they used to say, don't ever let a good disaster go to waste. A good crisis go to waste. They try to play off every one of them and spin it in their direction. Just remember, when we had a revolutionary war, we had an outbreak of the smallpoxy bug. Major outbreak of it. Did the country shut down? It was far more deadly than what we're facing. No, not only the country not shut down, but we took on the most mighty empire on earth and declared war on it. And won against seemingly impossible odds. I've also covered how we could deal with China in some of my videos. Russia. There's things we could do. We could find our way through this. But we also got to work domestically to find ways to tamper down all this hatred. And it can only work if you can reach out to the other side. Now, their minds are set, their worldviews are ironclad. It's going to be hard to get through. It'll take some time. Maybe that's the problem. Time is going to be a difficult thing. But let's hope and pray we don't find ourselves in a civil war. It will be ugly. But crime is going up. Crime is right now. And with all these shortages and potential food problems I've been talking about, like next year, you could expect crime to go out of hand. You may have more, there may be more gang stuff, guys. This is why you need to prep. I'm serious, you really do need to prep. But prepping is, it's been to provide food and water for your shelter for your family, your kids, yourself, your loved ones. But prepping is also, you got to prep your mind, prep your soul, be right with your maker. Be as physically fit as you can. Now, there's Nate with Canadian Prepper 1. Not Canadian Prepper, excuse me, not Canadian Prepper 1. Prepper Nurse 1. Go to Ed's channel, Prepper Nurse 1, tell him I sent you there. And go to Canadian Prepper's channel. He does not believe in the GSM. He's kind of got on to me in the past about that. But he actually pinned one of my notes, comments one time at the top of one of his chat sessions. I think since then I've been banned from his, or hidden from his room. I don't know why, but go there and tell him Green Griggs sent y'all. He tells everybody they need to train. That's good. He sells some good equipment, and he tells everybody you need to stay physically fit. And that is important. You really should. But it gets harder to do when you get older. I used to jog, actually run and jog. I ran 12 miles every other day. He's been in really good shape. You saw that picture of me when I was in the Army. I've had some days in my life I've been skinny, in good shape. That's when I was stationed at Fort Greely, Alaska. Now I was actually up in Fairbanks, and it's Gerard Kill Neal. I'm meeting with there, and Gerard Kill Neal is the father of that O'Neill cylinder concept, and I'm giving them a pin set based on a piece of basalt cut out with a North Star L5 Society tag and a pin on it. This desk. It's my camera bag behind me. That pin set was made by Ed Kiker. Ed Kiker had this made and gave it to me. So Ed Kiker is still a good friend. I met him at Fort Greely, Alaska, April of 1981, toward the end of the month. And he's been one of my best friends ever since. Good friend. Known him a long time. And he lives probably about 12 miles from me now. Ed Kiker. So, guys, we face a challenge. It's going to take us really working it. I think we can still win. Well, in the end, we win because we do in prophecy. But I also think we can make our path through the situation ahead work out a lot better. You know what I mean? I think we can have some impact on how we get through this. And we can keep a lot of things at bay. I was skinny too, Greg. All right, got you there. What's China waiting for? An invitation? Tell them to bring it on. You know, one night we had people hit my chat room that were like attacking, you know, just rah, 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 rah. I don't know if any of you were in that chat room that night. You know what I told them? I said, oh, okay, put it right here. You come tell me to my face. Come right here. And I said, my address is 112 Stillwell Drive, Tony, Alabama. You just come right here, right now. Put that in my face. A lot of people are chicken. You know, not many preppers tell you where they're at. There's a lot of people that are just chicken. They talk tough, but they don't tell them to come. Just bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it right here. I've done it. Y'all remember that? I used to be 32. Me too. Once upon a time. Almost half my life ago. I'm 61 now. It'll still be about 3 years from Princess, half my life ago. Greetings. Okay, Lapis. So, Greg, you should do a vid on Ed's private museum. Oh, she's seen it. Yeah, he's got something beautiful there. He does. Yeah, she's been to Ed's place here. Yeah, he's got quite a museum. Beautiful. Y'all want to see that? That would make a great vid. Tom, say new days. Tom, you sound like a Marine. Tom, Army. Oh, I was Army. Definitely. Army. And that's where I met Ed when I was in the Army. I was in the Army when I did that picture with Gerard K. O'Neill I just showed y'all. Or my picture in the Viking ship. Whoa! I'm dropping stuff. Oh, I don't want to smash these pictures. Oh, let me go. I dropped something. My George O'Neill picture go. Oh, there it is. Focus in a minute, I hope. Will it or not? Come on, focus. Don't want to focus. If I put it all the way in, it'll focus. There we go. You see me? Coming over the side of this Viking ship. That's just a stick in my hand. Looks like a saber, don't it? Yeah, well, that's my bloodlines, guys. At the time, I was a soldier at Fort Bragg. That's where I went in Fort Greeley. And you'll see what I was like when I was a teenager, a kid. The cabin I built. That's a corncob pipe in my mouth. A buzzard feather. That's me. That's yours truly. At 16-year-old in the door of a cabin I built. So when I do my little poetry Wednesday and I talk about Bolo, the mountain man, from his cabin perched high. Yeah, my cabin, the front porch of my cabin was 7 foot off the ground. Back of it was on the ground and I built on a slope. And it had a fireplace in it and a loft. Yeah, what's the treat meeting? Oh, meeting Ed. Yeah, Ed's a good guy. I just had a mutual friend that I met at Fort Greeley, Alaska, call me today. He had actually lived down here, moved down here before Ed did for a while, but he's up in Missouri now. Called me today. Viking Greg's. There you go. Just want to do my Odin Wednesdays, guys. My Woden's Wednesdays. I got Viking blood, lots of it. And I have a Nordic friend whose ancestors in Norway made this one. Odin. And you see the two ravens, Huginen and Muninen, which means thought and memory. And my son, before he gave me 65 bags of mushroom, it really only gave me one thing in life. And there's this. Odin. On his steed Schleppner with his spear Gungi. Anyway, Navy Mars. Greg, we need to talk about Nordic men from my Dr. Ruth's kit show. Oh my God. Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth. Oh boy. Monashi prepping. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Green Gregs, you were industrialist from heart, from the start. Love the pipe. Yeah, making things. Yeah. My family, some of my family went into Kentucky when Boone was going to Kentucky, and they set up a salt foundry, which was actually the very first industry in the state of Kentucky. Some of my direct ancestors. And I had direct ancestors. One of my direct ancestors was the primary coach driver for Queen Elizabeth I. And one of my direct ancestors also ran the Tower of London, where they imprisoned the royalty. So, yeah, they were kind of helping out. Out of that line, 3 of them came with Colonel Oglethorpe as officers under him when they set up the penal colony in Georgia. So, yeah, that's how that line got over here. Pipe or Mexican works very well I'm amazed. How you doing there, Doug? So closing my eyes, listening from now, loving this. You were going to bed like 30 minutes ago. Oh my God, it's 1 in the morning. Holy smoke, I got to go out and turn the AC off in the microgreens trailer. Wow, we've been going all this time. We've been going long tonight. If you do a vid of Ed's place, I would come down for that. Okay. Sounds like a game. I'll have to challenge you to that then. Let's see what's going on with the temperature outside right here now. Supposed to get down to 28 tonight, I think, degrees Fahrenheit. What is it right now? Oh, come on. Where's it at? There it is. Ding, 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 ding. Let's see what the temperature is. It says 39. So ain't that freezing. It's probably about time to turn the AC off in the microgreens trailer. I guarantee you it's at least 50 in there, probably 60. That dehumidifier generates a lot of heat. Uncommon is my blood oxygen was 93 before I had some. Now it's up to 97 on a few short hours later. Yeah, Doug got into some mess, guys. Might do it. I got to do a show with Doug here real soon. I also want to cover this crime stuff. I got a lot of stuff I need to talk with you guys about. We did cover a lot of it tonight. It's just a hodgepodge, but you know, it won't be that many people to watch this. So, Ed Cocker's a dear friend though. He's an amazing guy. He's quite the industrialist, quite an engineer. He was Army. You arrange it and you're on. Okay. So you'll come down to Ed's if I do video. Well, we'll set that up. Ed will agree. Ed will agree. Yeah, my buddy that called me today his name was Chuck Grazioli. It is Chuck Grazioli. He's pretty old. Him and Ed about the same age. As an old friend from Fort Greeley, Alaska. Chuck worked for the fire department back at the time. He was a civilian, a DOD employee. Yes, Ed was at that time, but Ed was prior Army and worked in the military all his life. So Ed's very much a soldier type. All right, guys. I think we've gone long here. Y'all want a prayer night before we finish here? So what do? We kind of covered the sun, earth, the moon, the asteroids, and impacts, and all kind of stuff tonight. And the bottom line is, yeah, there's stuff that could hit us, but you don't need to be gravely worried about it right now. It could happen, but the probability at this moment is not that high. So don't get scared to death about it. That's why I talked all the asteroid stuff. But I also give you a good general education about it. The thing to be worried about is our society is rotting because of personal greed, the fact that families are broken up, the kids are being raised by the wolves in society, in the school systems, that love is not being taught anymore. We've got to reach out and find a way to spread the love, guys. And we got to turn around the narrative. We really do. If it may be that this whole world will just crash, but if it does, at least maybe we can pick it up on the other side, dust ourselves off, and build a better world. That's what we got to look forward to. If it does all crash, we got to rebuild it, make it better next time through, and use the lessons learned. That's when you want the other guy, see, that stuff didn't work, all that hatred. Look what it led to, guys. Look what it led to. Disaster. There's no way hatred makes anything right. It's wrong to hate. Hate is wrong. That's why I don't like hate groups. That's why I don't like racist organizations on either side. And you can't justify it. People try to justify all these things. They get twisted logic that justifies, certain views and hatred associated with it. And it's just twisted. Yeah, we're not perfect. And a lot of mistakes were made in the past. But the key thing is to learn to overcome and build a better world. With peace and understanding and love. That's what we got to do, guys. Everyone have a fantastic night. Nobody's asked for any prayers here yet, so it's about time we go. We could pray for Doug. Doug's dealing with a respiratory issue, big one. We should always pray for Grady Lana and her granddaughter, Kaylee. Pray for Randy Bly, the Blue Bottle Bunny Farm. Let evil cannibalize itself while we grow. There you go. Yeah, we can grow. The thing to do is to grow above it. Don't. You got to defend yourself, though. You still have to defend yourself. Absolutely do that. Mona sheep prepping. Good night and peace be with you. Okay. Amen to that. Let's pray for all those that are facing termination of employment right now. Let's pray for peace and understanding. Let's pray for revival of peace and understanding in our society. I think that would be a good thing to do. So let's do a real quick prayer session. Okay, just real quick. I'm not. This is not a religious channel. I don't tell you how to pray. Pray according to your own faith. Let's just do a real quick prayer here. All right. Amen. Once again, go to my channel. My new channel, Product Pappas. I'm going to shut down this little computer. Shut it down. Go to Product Pappas. I am going to share the link to that. In fact, I've been sharing the link to the video, so I'm going to back off and share the link to the channel itself, I think. I do that. Pappas. This is the channel link. It's got one video so far. It's about to have a lot more. But we got 34 subscribers right now. Guys, we got more of that in the room right now. So we're over here and sign up real fast if you haven't done so already. So hang on. Here is the channel link. Bing. Product Pappas. Always walk silently and carry a big stick. Exactly. The meek should not inherit the earth is often misunderstood. Meek doesn't mean weak. It means that you don't use the power you have. You can wield great power, but that don't mean you use it. You just have it if you need it. You know, I'll go more into that in the future. So here's what I want y'all to do. Reach out to other people. Try to remember to shine your love light to the world. Like I said, it's darkness is dispelled by light, hate's dispelled by love. Our Lord is coming soon. Exactly. And that's a message of love. So that's what we got to do. We got to, you still have to protect yourself. You have to protect your family. You got to prep. So let's have hope. Let's don't lose hope, guys. Don't lose hope. A lot of people got distraught contemplating these things, but never lose hope. Milwaukee makes a good hammer drill. I cover the Milwaukee one. Y'all probably seen me one night. I had them all here playing with them on one of my late night videos. All right, guys, we've gone long, very long here. We've been on for 2.5 hours. So, what the world? Was a video notice popping up below. That's what that is. So I want to thank you. But let's end with gratitude. That's what Thanksgiving's all about. The spirit of Thanksgiving. Again, I'm happy for my family, the health of my family, my kids, my grandkids. I'm happy that I live in still in what's prosperous society. I'm happy that I still have a lot of personal freedoms. They've taken a lot from us. Always go check out freedomrestorationfoundation.org. We're trying to maintain and restore our freedoms. At least we can still work that at the time. We can still step back and enjoy the universe. And we got each other. We got our friends and family, and you are friends and family. So I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for you, every one of you. So I want to thank all of you for watching tonight. I want to thank the mods for being here, for all the work you've done. And I just want everybody to think about that tonight. Just have an attitude of gratitude. And I hope you've had a happy Thanksgiving. Until you go to sleep, I think it's still Thanksgiving. I'm not going to say that. And make every day a day of Thanksgiving. Hey, Veronica, how you doing? Make every day a Thanksgiving. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much. Thank you again. And have a wonderful